Hello everyone, and welcome to a nice Wednesday night as we head into the Nexus Division quarterfinals between BoomerGaming and Heavy Hitterz. Now the map bans have already come out. We have Sky Temple and Braxis Holdout getting banned out by BoomerGaming, and Heavy Hitterz have chosen to ban away Battlefield of Eternity and Dragon Shire. And the first map that we are going to be going to is the Garden of Terror. So it is a pretty big map. It's going to be very interesting to see the picks. But as for the intro, my name is Tokibi. I'm going to be your MC, play-by-play, and color caster tonight. We're going to have a very exciting best of 5 in the Nexus Division. And before we really get started, I would also like to thank all of you very much. I have now broken 400 followers on Twitch. It's a very big milestone for me. So thank you very much for all of the follows and all the support you have been giving me ever since I've started casting for the NGS. It means a lot to me. And now to give a little bit of context for these two teams, BoomerGaming, we've seen on this channel, I believe this will be the third time we see them on our channel, and Heavy Hitterz, I've casted one of their games, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I've been casting a lot, so it has been kind of all blurring together. But BoomerGaming is currently the #1 seed in the Nexus Division, and Heavy Hitterz is that underdog 8th seed. The point differential is 34 for BoomerGaming to the 22 of Heavy Hitterz, and we are in fact going into the draft right now. So, Garden of Terror, it's going to matter a lot more to have those the interrupts onto the seedlings whenever you're trying to cap the points. And at the same time, it's also going to be very important to have some kind of global presence. This map is very tall, it is very wide, it is just a massive map. So having characters like the Dahaka, like the Brightwing, going to be very important. I know I say this every time I go on Garden of Terror, but the fact remains is it is always going to be important. But these two teams, they're also quite specialized as well. Oh, and small short break. Something happened. Okay, we're just going to go back to this screen for now. Not sure what happened, but someone did end up disconnecting. We will have to wait a little bit until the draft does get reset. But in the meanwhile, we will continue with that. I believe it was the captain of BoomerGaming that has disconnected. Not sure the reason, but they're already back, so we should be getting back into the game shortly. But there are... Ooh, sorry about that. But there is going to be a lot of picks coming out soon. Ah, I see what happened. They had the first pick set the wrong way, so they just needed to do a quick reset. Yeah, so they got all that figured out. We should be heading back into draft very soon. And anyway, going back to these two teams, there's a lot of different characters that both of these teams are very good at. Obviously, Blaze. I think pretty much everyone in these divisions are going to be good at Blaze. And a lot of the tanks as well. Joanna is going to be very strong. There's going to be a lot of preference over, potentially towards the Lucio. I think Lucio is very strong as well. On this map, however, I do expect Brightwing to be more contested over on that healer role. And we will, in fact, see Mephisto be the first ban coming out from BoomerGaming. Mephisto also very strong right now. And if you're able to utilize that exploding skull tech, where if you have the movement speed, you're actually able to detonate it 2 or 3 times per skull, which adds a ton of DPS to a teamfight. If someone has already set you up, or even if you set yourself up with Endurance of Hate, you can get so many kills in a very quick amount of time. And now we do see the other bans coming out as well. Garrosh going to be banned out by BoomerGaming. Does open up the Diablo a little bit more, at least in terms of picking it a bit earlier. And then the last Vikings and Samuro going to be banned out by the Heavy Hitterz. So kind of targeting over to that position 3, that off-lane bruiser, is Heavy Hitterz. But Dahaka is still available, and it is Garden of Terror, so very easy blind pick coming out for Dope Monster. But there are still other global heroes available. Brightwing going to get picked up by K-Star. And there's still Falstad available and Hogger. while Hogger definitely doesn't have any of that global presence, doesn't have any of those immediate cross maps, very solid offlaner, is able to deal a lot of damage. And depending on how you angle it, Hog Wild can get you to move around the map very quickly as well. But the Falstad will get picked up by iFeed and the Rhaegar over for E-Bagatron. So that's going to be 2 global heroes over on the side of BoomerGaming. And the Rhaegar, that's a very fast doggo, so he's going to be able to run around and kind of keep up with the team as well. And not to mention, Rhaegar is just one of the best healers right now in the game. I am a little bit surprised neither side has opted for the Anduin. I think Anduin is in a very good place right now, but Brightwing on Garden of Terror and Rhaegar overall are pretty much... They're good. There's no reason not to. Oh, but we are going to have 2 tanks banned out over in this phase of bans. The Diablo is going to get banned out by BoomerGaming, and Joanna will get banned out by Heavy Hitterz. Neither side has opted for a main tank yet. So, going to be interesting to see what is selected. There are still quite a few solid tanks. There's a new Barak. Mei, I don't see Mei played super often, but is a niche pick. And they will go for the Genji ETC combo. I don't know, I'm calling that a combo. I don't think they have any specific combos together, but 2 solid picks. EDC, very good front line. Depending on whether you go Stage Dive or Mosh Pit, still is a very strong tank. I do expect it will be the Mosh Pit. 99% of the time, I think Mosh Pit does get selected. And since I already have the Brightwing, I don't think they'll be going for the Light Bomb combo, so no reason for that. And now Beller's going to play the Muradin and Greymane locked in by J-Shift. So they're very balanced team comp on the side of BoomerGaming. They do lack a little bit in the crowd control. All they really have is Muradin's Stormhammer, Dahaka's Grab. Or Drag, sorry, that's the name of the ability. And Falstad's Gust. So they are definitely lacking a little bit over on the crowd control aspect for BoomerGaming. However, Heavy Hitters have a decent amount, especially with that last pick, Maiev. They're going to have a ton of control. They're going to have the pullback coming out from Maiev. The Face Melt and the Power Slide from ETC. Hog are going to be able to knock them into the wall. And if they also go to the Shockwave over on Sugar, going to be a ton of stuns. It's one thing I've always done. I like counting the stuns for each of these teams. And just because of that, I do favor Heavy Hitters slightly. But I don't think it's a huge difference in draft. So it's really going to come down to who's able to play better in game number 1. Alright, and we are into map number 1 between BoomerGaming and Heavy Hitters. So to kind of continue talking about the draft as I have been, I do ever so slightly favor Heavy Hitters just because they do have more control. That being said, BoomerGaming does have the global presence coming out from Dahaka. They still have enough stuns. They have a lot of slows on their team as well. And just overall, a lot of damage coming out from both of these rosters, really. Dahaka, one of the strongest DPSing offlaners. Augur probably the other one, so we're really gonna see how it all comes together once these team fights do start coming out. And Daniel is immediately going to go in. It's gonna be a little bit not gonna go too far with that right now. However, looks like both sides are just gonna start grouping mid, but they're already splitting over to send Sugar over to the top side. Tezopako did walk bottom, but does come back to the mid lane for a Heavy Hitters. So a little bit more of a lane splitting for that. And now Daniel does get caught a little bit, but will not take too much damage. It is the Genji, very safe player. Phase Shift will come out, heal Daniel back up to full. And interestingly enough, we do have Frequent Flyer as the talent choice coming out for iFeed on the Falstad. Typically we do see the Hammerang build, the Gathering Storm talent picked up. And it is going to be the basic attack build coming out. Now K-Star starting to get jumped upon. A lot of damage dealt already, but will not be able to have enough damage to finish them off. Still good amount of pressure forces K-Star to have to tap that well. In the meanwhile, Dope Monster and Sugar, they're both just going to be clearing it out in the top side. Neither side should really have too much kill pressure on the other, as the camps have started being taken. Dope Monster has decided to actually invade a little bit. Is checking out the Bruiser camp, but won't really go through with that. Now K-Star and Sugar are going to be taking down that siege camp together. The siege camp has already been taken down by J-Shifts, as has the one over for the side of Heavy Hitters. But now Bellers is going to get pulled back. I believe still has the Dwarf Toss. Face Meld has been used, and will just Dwarf Toss over the wall, starting to run towards J-Shifts and Bagatron. So going towards the teammates rather than the wall. Bellers should be okay. It is the Muradin. Will be able to heal up with that passive. And iFeed now does have the push over in the mid lane, and Dude Daniel is coming in just to kind of poke back and forth, but already used a dash, gonna jump over the wall, and that'll get Dude Daniel back to safety. The Bruiser camp has been finished by the side of BoomerGaming, so every single camp now completed for both sides, as the top Bruiser and the top Siege have also been taken as well. But now the fight is starting to break out a little bit. The totem does get thrown down, but that's just going to be used to peel away. It is 4-on-3 over on the spot side. Dude Daniel jumps over the wall, gets a lot of distance with that. I was not expecting that much. As Tezopaco does use the power slide to get in, still has the face mode available, does use it, but they're able to get the stun on Dude Daniel. Dude Daniel is using the deflect, will be okay, takes a tower hit. So despite them having the numbers advantage, and they will be able to get the push, and maybe that was the objective, just kind of force the siege camp to be able to damage the tower a little bit. As we do see Tezopaco and Bellers now starting to trade a little bit. Bellers not too afraid quite yet, as both sides are just kind of grouping up together. Neither side's really going for the seed yet. And the face melt onto Bellers does have the pullback, and the Dwarf Toss was already used. So Bellers will try to run away, but Dude Daniel's doing a lot of damage. Does have the stun. In the meanwhile, there was a kill over the top side, but Bellers will also go down. Tezopaco taking so much damage on the backline by J Shifts, and Dope Monster has grouped in as well. They're able to take down the healer on the backside. Dope Monster still has drag available, hasn't used it yet. J Shifts trying to jump onto Tezopaco, but K-Star is healing. And now iFeed grouping it as well, and pull back on all three by Xantharium. Now Tezopaco able to get the power slide onto the backline. J Shifts probably not gonna live for too long. Will get face melted back into the wall, and that's a 4-for-1 for Heavy Hitters throughout that entire long fight. Now Bellers is here getting ready to cancel, and will throw the Stormhammer in time, just kind of trying to delay as long as possible. They do not have good health bars. Phase Shift is coming out right now. Face Meld going to be used as well. Xantharium won't be able to finish it off. Dwarf Toss will be used by Bellers to try and delay even more. Has the Stormhammer as well. So now they're all going to be canceled. Dope Monster will not land the drag. Xantharium will be able to secure that. Now the Umbral Blind was able to get 3, and that engage coming out from the Maiev really opened up that fight. Once a Dwarf Toss was committed, there was just so much distance that they were able to deny the Muradin from being able to create. And once that happened, it was so easy for them to just run it down and completely get the free kill, and one thing chained into another, and they were able to get 4 full kills and the seed going over for a Heavy Hitter. So very good start for them. And now the camps have respawned, so both sides are just going to do their chores, clean up their camps. Dude Daniel waiting for the siege camp to spawn. Gonna be 10 more seconds, but if Dude Daniel is able to steal that away, that would be pretty decent. And now Xantharium is going to be trading with Dope Monster, not going to go too far. But now they're invading over onto this siege camp, so Dude Daniel is going to have the backline, but it's Genji. Not too hard to find the backline anyway, but they are 3 over on the point. The siege camp is still being contested, still being fought over, and they're able to get the pull with the knives, able to finish off the siege camp, and that's going to be yet another kill for Heavy Hitters as the team fight continues. Bagatron getting chased down by Dude Daniel. One more hit, and Bagatron will go down as well. That's a healer gone, and J-Shifts, you're on the wrong side of the map. And yet another kill. Fan of Knives coming out from Xantharium, and that's a 3-for-0. That's a 7-1 lead. They're going to get the second seed. They're going to get their heroic talents. And in the meanwhile, even their bot lane is just getting a lot done for them with that siege camp. And on top of that, they're also going to utilize this pressure to steal away this siege camp as well. So that's going to be a little bit of an extra XP lead, just being able to deny that camp away from the side of BoomerGaming. I don't expect it'll deal too much damage. It will help pressure out top lane a little bit, but always good just for the XP you get from the mercenaries. And now they're going to start this siege over into the mid lane. And they are working hard towards it. The 2 siege minions are dealing a decent amount of damage, throwing those rocks. And now the power slide is going to come in from Tezopaco. And look at the mosh pit, the X strike, and everything on top. Bellers will be able to get away. Avatar popped in time. And so it is a 1-for-1 for now, but that fort is getting so low. Dope Monster has cleared everything up, and they're able to get the pullback and the gust. They're going to take out the Bright Wings. Xantharium still alive, and Dude Daniel trying to run away. I expect if anyone's going to get caught out, it will be Xantharium. And trying to get away, throws out the ultimate, but will get taken down. So a little play back for BoomerGaming. However, Sugar is going to try finishing this off, but the Stormhammer does come out in time. The third seed will not get taken. Not yet, anyway. Beller's already trying to trade onto the front. J-Shift's going to be here as well. Hogwild comes out. Tezopaco use the power slide and the face melt. And, oh, we do have the Hogwild coming out from Sugar. And J-Shift's once again starting to get damaged, but the Ancestor healing will come out in time. Now Dope Monster has burrowed in as well. Will be able to cancel that cap for a little bit, but it looks like they're giving up. They know this is a losing fight, and they're going to give the Garden Terrors to the Heavy Hitters right now. So that's going to be 3 full waves of pressure, and they already have the Bruiser Camp at the top side. The main major one has already been cleared out, which will make it a little bit easier. But now Dope Monster starting to get so much damage done. And we'll get pulled back as well, and that's going to be yet another kill, and look at that. It is so hard to play into the Maiev and into the Genji when you don't have that lockdown. And that's really where the draft is starting to come into play for them. Now, I will say Maiev and Genji are a little bit lower DPS compared to the more standard generic DPSs that you would expect to see. As we do see J-Shifts jumping on his Sugar is going to use the Hortipult to get away. But still, that's a big cooldown utilized. They were able to get some pressure back in the top side, but they're losing so much in the bot lane. The seed has come out. Xantharium already pulled back E-Bagatron. E-Bagatron starting to get low. Base shift will get canceled by Xantharium. And now the Garden Terra has already destroyed this bottom fort and this bottom wall. Able to get just a little bit of damage over onto this keep, but instead the fight is going to break out. The Warden's Cage coming out from Xantharium. K-Star going to heal it up, and E-Bagatron taking so much damage on the backline. Dude, Daniel going to use the X-Strike and will be able to finish off E-Bagatron, and that's going to be the healer down. But the Stormhammer does land, but you know what else lands? Oh, the Gust, that's what it is. The Mosh Pit was able to land over onto one, but luckily iFeed was there to cancel the Mosh Pit and keep J-Shifts from going down as well. Still, an absolute massive win so far for Heavy Hitters. Being able to get this much pressure is really good for them. And now we do see a possible little catch from the top side. Bellers and Sugar. It does have the Hogwild to get away, and it's going to be so hard to get on top of Sugar, especially with the Hortipult being the ultimate choice. Decided they don't even need the Shockwave to come out for Sugar. But now there is a little bit of fighting over this bot side. They were able to get the Umbral Bind all the way back onto Dope Monster, but will it be okay? Bellers is now here to support. So a potential play coming out, but it is hard to catch out the Dehaka. Has a lot of different abilities that allow an escape to happen. Buy enough time for the rest of the team to come in and help. But that's still a very large wave pushing in. It is going to be that magic shielded wave as well. They're able to get the Polymorph and the face mode over to iFeed. iFeed gets pulled back with the Umbral Blind. X-Strike over top will get that kill. The Ancestor healing not able to come out in time. And now Xantharium just using the Fan of Knives. Over top, everyone is just dealing so much DPS. The Polymorph does come out over onto Bellers. In case are tanking a little bit, but it should be okay. Does have that pulse healing coming out. And now a lot of the fighting coming in. And the Mosh Pit is going to come out, but will get canceled immediately. And so much damage going on to Tezopaco. Tezopaco pushes a little bit too far. And now they're going to be able to get two. Xantharium going to get taken down as well. Dude, Daniel and K-Star are still trying to get away and will not be chased, but that is 2 kills going back. Overstaying just a little bit on the side of Heavy Hitters, and BoomerGaming able to get something back for that. And now they're going to use Flight and are going to start channeling over for this seed, but they don't even want to give 1 seed over to BoomerGaming. It is a 5-on-3. Dude Daniel is just there to try and cancel it, but Dope Monster will safely lock it in for BoomerGaming. And that's going to delay the next set of Garden Terrors coming out from Heavy Hitters. Even if they don't end up getting the seeds themselves, just preventing that is also really big for BoomerGaming, as they do hit the level 16 talent. they do have very bad waves overall, and since they don't have any forts, the waves are always going to be bad for them. But they're not that far behind in XP. And that's the main thing I want to pay attention to. Right now, they are level 16, not even half a level down below. As we see a potential conflict starting, however, there are 3 members of Heavy Hitters over on that bot side camp. So they're not going to be able to start a fight right away. And now, both sides just kind of slowing it down for now. It is even talent tiers. It's going to be even talent tiers for a while. And Heavy Hitters can try to just kind of play this macro game, this passive push. But it looks like they don't even want the face mount utilized onto Dope Monster, and just so much damage. It is going to be that Dahaka, so we'll be able to heal a decent amount. As iFeed is fighting with Dude Daniel and is taking so much damage. The gut's going to be used just to get the dragon. Now they're able to get the Stormhammer as well. The heal will come out in time by the phase shift. And silence on top. And Dude Daniel trying to get away and will be able to jump over the wall. And now they have all the ultimates going on together by Heavy Hitters. But no damage follow-up. Tezopaco is going to get healed in time. Xantharium is in the middle of the fight now. And Ivy just trying to auto-attack as much as possible. Dude Daniel goes down in the background as well. And they were able to land everything, but their DPSs were too low to follow up. They had that Umbral Cage. They had that Mosh Pit. But because Dude Daniel was taken down so low at the start of that fight, was not able to follow up on any of that play. So another very good team fight coming out from BoomerGaming. And this is what I've started noticing in a lot of these playoffs. The higher seeds typically starts coming out and starts outplaying once it gets later and later into that game. And don't get me wrong though, by no means is Heavy Hitters out of it, and they are still in the lead, though Tezopaco does still have the wall, so never mind, definitely not in as much danger as I originally suspected. But that second seed is still going to get picked up by iFeed. So that's 2-0 coming out for the seeds, so Heavy Hitters will need to fight on the next one. But they're not in the worst spot yet. They still have most of their forts. They did lose the mid one, but their bot lane fort is still available. Their top lane fort is still available. They have most of their walls even. Their bot lane wall has barely been touched. Same with their top lane one. So even if those Garden Terrors do spawn, they will have a very decent buffer before BoomerGaming is able to get any significant lead back from them. Unless they're able to force a team fight over top, it will help even out the game, and they may be able to get a slight advantage, but they're not going to have anything super substantial unless they're able to force that team fight over top. Now, K-Star and Tezopaco just going to push out this Bruiser camp from this bot lane. And just overall in general, trying to keep the lane state as even as possible. It does push for them, naturally. But they also want to make sure they're collecting as much of the XP orbs as possible. And get the level 20 as soon as possible. BoomerGaming is in fact slightly in the lead now when it comes to levels. So that is going to be pretty big for them, as they're now going to start sieging over onto this bot side. And they're just grouping hard as 4. Just throwing everything at the wall. And they're okay to give up this seed. They don't need it. They don't want it. What they want to do right now is try to get this level 20. Tezopaco is behind them. But Tezopaco isn't a bit of a bad spot. It's just Tezopaco and K-Star. Ooh, BoomerGaming could have went on the initiate, but did not see where Heavy Hitters were. So going to be a little bit difficult for them. But that's still going to be a fort traded for a seed. Heavy Hitters aren't going to be in that bad a spot right now, so just going to have to see where it goes next. The siege camp is going to be taken. Next seed is going to be spawning over in the bot side, slightly favoring BoomerGaming in terms of the positioning. And now what they did on the bot side, they're just going to rinse and repeat and start hitting over onto this top lane. And now they hit level 20s. Level 20 still has not been hit by Heavy Hitters. They are very close, but will need to get just a little bit more. And this could be where they fight. They do get passive XP because they do have 3 forts down. And level 20 is going to get hit as they are going to finish off that Bruiser camp. So that's it. All the talents have now been selected. No more talent advantages for either of these two teams. It's going to come down entirely to macro and entirely on how well they're able to play these team fights. And now the seed has spawned, and the positional advantage is for Heavy Hitters right now. Dahaka is still trying to push out that top side. But now they're able to get the polymorph over onto Bellers, and Bellers already taken down to half HP. Force pops out the avatar, and Tezopaco is going to use the mosh pit and able to get onto iFeed. X-Strike as well. Now the gust, the wind tunnel, pushing everyone down into the same spot, and so much damage coming out over the top. J shifts just dealing an amazing amount of damage. Sugar getting taken down super low as well. And in the meanwhile, they're just going onto everyone. 4 for nothing. And I can't believe it. That wind tunnel from iFeed just putting every single member of Heavy Hitterz into one big clump. So they're able to win the fight. And they don't have a wave, but it's 4 for 1 for 40 seconds. This could be it. They could go for the game. Depends how much Dude Daniel is going to be able to cancel out. Begatron is going to take a lot of damage. And just being able to keep them low, it does look like their push is not fast enough. They will just go over for this keep, I believe. Still 20 seconds on the ETC, but they are positioning forward. I think they are going to go for this core. Dude Daniel going to try and buy as much time as possible. J-Shift getting taken down very low. Dude Daniel just dealing as much damage as possible. Actually going to be utilized. J-Shifts is still getting healed out 30%. And Wind Tunnel going to be used and the silence as well. And they're going to do it. BoomerGaming takes game number 1. And what an amazing ending to game number 1. That is not how I expected it to go. Heavy Hitterz had control for most of this game. And then they overstayed just a little bit, only losing 1 or 2 members. But that was enough for BoomerGaming to come back. And once those talent tiers were tied, it just came down to one last team fight. And Bellers was a little bit too far forward, but did have the avatar and was able to buy so much time. And iFeed grouping everyone together with that wind tunnel, and J-Shifts with that gray main over the top, just dealing so much damage. What an insane ending to game number 1. Now we're going to go to a short break before game number 2, but I would like to give a shout out to Raka. Thank you for the raid, and welcome everyone who has just joined the raid for what is turning out, or for what is looking to be an absolutely amazing series. Game number 1 just ended, but it's a best of 5, so we got at least 2 more games, and my caster bias is going to be showing, hopefully more. We'll be back shortly. Alright. And we are back for game number 2 between BoomerGaming and Heavy Hitterz. Map number 2 is going to be that Towers of Doom. Very interesting map. One I've had the pleasure of casting for the past 3 days now. And it is going to be that kind of map where late game is all but guaranteed. You either hard snowball this map or it goes very late. There is no in between for this. So now the bans are going to be the same to start out. We have the Mephisto ban and the Samuro ban coming out immediately. I don't expect to see too much different. I believe this was the Garrosh ban last time. And then for the side of Heavy Hitterz, they banned the Vikings. I expect to see the Vikings banned out again. They are very strong on Towers of Doom, able to double soak really well. It is going to be a little bit hard to control them, especially if you lose 1 or 2. It does get difficult to double soak over on this map, but definitely still possible. And yeah, we are seeing just the same repeat of bans. The Garrosh is going to get banned away. But what I'm curious about is what draft changes are going to be happening. And yeah, the last Vikings are going to be the ban. Last time they did lock in the Dahaka. I would not be surprised to see that repeated as well. Towers of Doom, macro-wise, at least in terms of picks, it's going to be basically the exact same. They're just going to continue. Dahaka is just as valuable, at least when it comes to the offlane. When it comes to the 4-core, it changes quite a bit, and it looks like they are going to be valuing that 4-core more on the side of BoomerGaming. They're going to lock in the Junkrat first pick. And Junkrat is so annoying to deal with in most situations, but on this map especially. It is a very tall map, hence why there's an importance over on that offlaner, but it's not very wide. This map is pretty easy to traverse, as if you're part of the 4-core, it is very easy to move around, it is very easy to go into the fight. As we do see similar picks, but different order coming out from Heavy Hitterz. They're going to go with that Brightwing Genji. I am a little bit surprised they go over for the Brightwing, especially since the Genji was open and they were picking it anyway. I think something like the Ando and Light Bomb combo could have been a very solid pick, but I mean, we saw how well they were able to play it last game. Dude, Daniel was just dealing a ton of damage, was an absolute psycho on that backline with that Genji. And a very different draft so far now from the side of BoomerGaming as they lock in the Blaze and the Diablo, the Dibbles. And Blaze is very strong over in that offlane role, has very fast clear, especially with that auto attack buff that Blaze did get. I think it was, oh, I don't even remember. The days are just flowing by for me. Either yesterday or the day before. Was supposed to get it with the patch, but due to a bug was not able to have it. And now they're going to ban out the Rhaegar. So we will see a new healer as well for BoomerGaming. So at the very least, 4 new different heroes coming out in game number 2. The offlaner still hasn't been picked. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Dahaka or the Hogger get banned out right now by BoomerGaming, unless they feel there's something else they'd rather not deal with. Joanna is still available, another tank pick that they could decide to get rid of instead. I believe they did ban away the Diablo in game number 1, so definitely we'll have a new ban here as well. And it is going to be that Dahaka. So I'd expect Heavy Hitterz to pick up the Hogger as well. Or maybe the Leoric. Leoric is also very good at clearing away those minions, able to double soak very effectively, and able to move between lanes very quickly with that Wraithwalk. It's a very strong escape, but at the same time, it's also a very strong ability when it comes to just getting onto those waves and clearing them out ASAP. So now ETC gonna get locked in for Tezopaku, so gonna rerun it, but Ape Monkey gonna pick up that Sonya, so we are seeing a little bit more of a fighting team composition coming out from the side of Heavy Hitterz. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit hype about that. I think that Sonya, I love seeing Sonya. Leap is one of my favorite abilities in the entire game. I think it's just so hype to watch. But now we do have the final 2 picks. Anduin is still available for the healers. So is Stukov as well, but it will be the Anduin. And J-Shift's going to lock in the Maiev. So the bird gonna be on the other side of the map this time. So it is going to be a completely different team composition coming out from BoomerGaming. 10 heroes played so far. And now from Heavy Hitterz, who are they going to go with their last pick? They do need more DPS. Sonya is able to bring out some damage. I would like to see something a bit more early game, kind of like the Grey main, something that's able to come out swinging. Even Tychus would be fine. Vala as well, very solid option. So, and that's going to be kind of like the standard DPS that I wanted, because I do think Genji does deal a lot of damage, and so does Sonya. But because it's Towers of Doom, Sonya will need to spend most of the time just collecting the double soak, fighting with eye feed, if anything. In the late game team fights, it will matter, but they need a little bit more power in that 4 core. But now we're going to see which of these two teams is going to be able to bring it back for game number 2. All right, and we are, into game number 2 on the Towers of Doom. So it's going to be everyone just grouping up into this mid lane. Dude Daniel, as per usual, just going to be resetting, going back through. Seems to be a little bit of a tradition for Dude Daniel. Maybe it's one of those players that just constantly needs to be doing something with the character, even before the game starts. I totally get that. Get those fingers warmed up. And now, not every talent has been taken. The Vala talents are the ones that I see kind of changed up the most of any carry. And it is going to be the basic attack build coming out. And now, Dude Daniel immediately gets stunned into the wall and does have the deflect. The phase shift has to come out, but Dude Daniel so close to being the first blood. Another concussive mine is going to throw Ape Monkey into the back line. So, BoomerGaming wastes no time at all in applying pressure. They will be okay. Dude Daniel will be able to heal back up. Has K-Star with the pulse healing as well. And now J-Shift just trying to keep them away from the lane. Trying to slow down how much XP they're able to get. And in fact, they are going to miss an entire wave in this bot lane. And while that doesn't sound like much, it is like a quarter of a level immediately. And now Dude Daniel taking a lot of damage. Another phase shift has to be utilized. Off code now, iFeed going to be auto-attacking Dude Daniel as well, but we'll be okay. And this is kind of the strength of that Blaze. You see just how fast this Blaze is able to clear this out. The minions have already hit the mid-wave, and Ape Monkey only now starting to reset. Won't be cancelled. But a lot of push power coming out of that Blaze, and now both sides are going to be able to collect onto their sapper camps over in the bot lane. And we are already seeing they're holding on to this quarter level lead for BoomerGaming. And now both sapper camps are going to be grouping together, and we'll see if either of these sides are able to get it to crash in. But I don't expect to. Typically this first camp is utilized just for the XP, unless you're able to steal it away. But yeah, both of these sapper camps are just going to go down. They're even sending to mid. J-Shifts and iFeed going to group together. And in fact, iFeed's going to start grouping together with the team. Or was at least threatening the roam over to the bot side. Had a little bit of a timer due to that clear speed advantage against the Sonya, but will not be able to make anything else out of it. Level 4 talents now hit by both of these teams, as we are now back in a mostly even state. Now iFeed's going to clear up these minions over on the top side, and not really too much going to be happening for a little bit. The real fight is going to start once those altars do spawn. As we see, the Shadow Charge going to get hit onto Ape Monkey. Ape Monkey also going to get pulled back by J-Shifts, but the root from E-Bagatron not going to land. The Chastise is not going to hit. But because of that attempt, but Tezo Paco was knocked back into the tower, and I believe this will be the first blood. Tezo Paco going down at a very inopportune time. The altars are now spawning. The Shadow Charge going to be utilized onto Dude Daniel. And this is what I mean when I say that Junkrat is so annoying on this map. Dope Monster, just with one ability, guarantees the kill over onto the enemy tank. Now, Dude Daniel is going to cancel the altar take by J-Shifts, and assuming they can continue canceling this, they could actually fight for a lot of these altars. And at the same time, Ape Monkey and Dude Daniel are canceling over on the top side as well. There is going to be a little bit of a fight, and Jet Propulsion lands under 2. K-Star starting to take a lot of damage, will not get pulled back. J-Shifts is not able to get in time. Now Dude Daniel still fighting over onto this top side. It is 4-on-3 in favor of the heavy hitters, and they will push everyone away. But in the meanwhile, there is a little bit of a kerfuffle happening over on this bot side. the twin streams will continue canceling this. But it's going to be close, and now Bellers is going to be getting spun on top of. Does have a little bit of regen coming through, and now J-Shift trying to get Xantharium pulled back, but not going to happen. Leap of faith coming from Ebagatron, saving J-Shifts as well, and while they don't get a kill, they're able to get so much pressure on the map by heavy hitters. Ebagatron going to continuously cancel that, and Dope Monster doing what Junkrats do, which is ruin everyone's day. As Bellers is going to go down here. Dude Daniel going to get the kill. Has the reset. Able to deal a lot of damage over to Dude Monster as well. And with that, they should be able to secure this bot side altar. And in fact, they were able to secure all 3. So that's going to be 12 damage going towards BoomerGaming immediately. Heavy hitters with some incredible map play. And they did start that play at a disadvantage as well. Dope Monster was able to pick off a Tezo Paco. And even with that pickoff, they were not able to secure any of the 3 altars. Just really well played on the side of heavy hitters, just constantly poking them out. Dude Daniel bought so much time for them. Oh, but Dude Daniel does get rid by the Chastise. Is not going to get taken down, though. Just kind of a little bit of a setup, as they're now pressuring into this Sapper camp. There is no talent advantage, so it is even talents right now. But the numbers are slightly favoring the side of BoomerGaming. iFeed is currently pushing out in the mid lane. Oh, and they're able to get Shadow Charge onto Tezo Paco. Tezo Paco tries to utilize the power side as well, and Xantharium vaults in, but is going to get rooted back onto the trap, and that's going to be a kill going over for Bellers. They're able to secure their Sapper camp and get a kill, but that was 4v5. So what does that mean? That means Ape Monkey has been hitting onto this top fort this entire time at around 1/3 HP is all that's remaining here. And now Bellers is going to roam up top, just kind of trying to buy a little bit of pressure. Dude Daniel dealing a lot of damage over to J-Shifts, but not going to be able to threaten any kills quite yet. And the Sapper camp actually even lands over onto this bot side wall, and they were able to get so much with that. The gate is gone. The top side cannon tower is also gone. Both sides on even talents. But the damage to the base and the macro, the map pressure, is currently favoring heavy hitters. But we're going to have to see just how this game continues on. It's Towers of Doom. Whoever is able to get that solidified lead can usually do a lot with it, and they're able to get the power slide on it too. Bellers still using the Shadow Charge to get in. Is going to get polymorph. Just so much damage happening. Bellers still trying to get away. Has a lot of healing on the backside and a lot of HP. But they will get pushed out once again. And now the altar... once again, secured by heavy hitters. Already 16 damage dealt towards BoomerGaming. And that's that map pressure coming out from them. They were able to just keep them away. And Bellers does get polymorph, gets knocked back. Light Bomb is hit, level 10 on both sides. They're able to get the Rain of Vengeance and just a little bit more damage. And Xantharium able to secure the kill onto Bellers. Only on those 73 souls, so does not end up losing the souls. And right now, you don't want that instant respawn. But that's still very good for heavy hitters. That's still a kill for them. And a couple ultimates were utilized. Light Bomb, and they're able to get the power slide landing. And the follow-up stun. K-Star going to get the last hit onto that kill. And that's another 2 kills going over to heavy hitters. And they're going to be able to finish off this bot lane wall. And they're going to start hitting onto this fort. And just so much damage coming out from them. And we see there's pressure coming out through the top side. I'm not going to move over just because I think a fight's going to start. And K-Star does get pulled in. Shadow Charge as well. And overpower the Lightning Breath will be enough to finish it off. So I'm definitely glad he didn't go over to the top side. But in the meanwhile, Ape Monkey still fighting onto iFeed. Was able to take down that Sapper camp. Okay, yeah. I'm glad I did not go up to that lane. But that's still talking more about the lane pressure. They were able to get the neutral camp up top. And they were able to get so much damage onto this bot side fort and wall. Just off of a couple picks by heavy hitters. And right now, this is starting to turn a little bit one-sided. 2 altars are going to be spawning. The Sapper camp is going to get finished off by heavy hitters. They may be a little bit late to the Sapper camp, or a little bit late to the altars, but I think they're pretty happy to just trade at this point in the game. So it is going to be 4 apiece coming out from both of these teams. But that still means, oh, Rain of Vengeance going to go slightly wide, but it's still going to be 36-20 in health for the heavy hitters. They're in a very good spot on this map. Because one thing with this game is it's so hard to contest on multiple altars at the same time. And because heavy hitters was able to do that earlier, as they do have the Riptire going to land, and they're able to get the Shadow Charge onto Tezo Paco, does not have another Shadow Charge, so won't be able to land onto that Other ultimate, and now they have so many people caught in the mosh pit. 3 are going to be there. Now Monkey jumps in as well, just dealing as much damage as possible, just spinning to winning onto iFeed. Still has that leap available, but doesn't see the opportunity. And just the threat of the leap is going to push BoomerGaming back. That's going to be a 1 kill over for Heavy Hitterz. The Chastise lands onto Tezopaco, but no follow-up quite yet. Xantharium going to start hitting onto it. And now they're trying to pull them back, but J-Shifts gets stunned as well. Now Tezopaco gets jumped. And Xantharium gets hit with the lightning breath and so much damage. The root underneath the tower as well. And Tezopaco is trying to get healed up by K-Star, but not enough healing. As BoomerGaming able to get 2 more pickoffs. And this is exactly what happened in game number 1. Oh, but they were able to cancel the jump, but Dude Daniel did have the dash. Whew. But yeah, to talk about what happened here. This is exactly what happened in game number 1 and how Heavy Hitterz kind of ended up losing their lead there too. They were able to get a very solid advantage in game number 1, but then slowly but surely gave away pickoffs. And with that, eventually BoomerGaming was able to catch up. And while they definitely have a more solid lead this time around, it is something to worry about, as Monkey does get stunned, buffers it with the leap, so we'll be okay. But his bot side forward is taking so much damage. Not going to be able to finish it off quite yet, but definitely something to be a little bit concerned about. Now Tezopaco going to use the power slide to go in. And Megatron going to secure that bot side altar, but Monkey should be able to get this mid altar. So once again, going to be a 5 for 3 actually, since they do have the extra 4, but now they're able to get the Shadow Charger over onto Dude Daniel, using the X-Strike just to be able to get away. And Rain of Vengeance over top. And the Polymorph lands, and so much damage landing onto iFeed. Bunker forced out, but they're going to kill the Bunker immediately. And now Bellers is just trying to buy time. He gets the last little bit of the Bunker as well. And now the heal also going to come in. And they do have the Umber Wall coming out from J-Shifts. Going to use the pullback as well. But Bellers still taking so much damage. Gets the Polymorph. And it's so hard to have enough damage. And Bellers will go down. The Riptire does land over onto 3, but it's not enough. Another winning fight for Heavy Hitterz. And they may try and pressure over onto the top side as the leap does come out of there, but get the power slide, and the Maiev goes down as well. Tezopaco does get knocked down, but with the mosh pit is going to get more, but no, but Bellers is going to cancel it immediately. Dude Daniel still trying to deal some more damage over on the backside, but is caught a little bit. Does have the deflect, jumps over the wall. Shadow Charge not going to be utilized quite yet. It will be used there. Kind of... Okay, sorry. I have to talk about what Bellers just did there because that was really smart. They saw that the deflect was used. They saw the jump and the dash were all used. So Bellers was saving that stun for a little bit longer so that they could stun them against the wall right before the cooldowns came back up, which gave them more time to DPS and definitely helped secure that kill. It's just a very small thing, but sometimes holding on to your cooldowns and delaying the damage and stun can bring out so much power in these fights. And they're going to be able to utilize that pick as well. And once again, the Junkrat pick being an absolute pain to deal with. And despite the lead, BoomerGaming has a 1 level XP advantage. They're going to take back this top fort. They got back this bot side fort. And now they're going to be jumping onto these altars. They have not been able to take back the top side. So it is going to be 4 landing already for the side of Heavy Hitterz. Bellers just trying to be a nuisance, trying to let Dope Monster secure this altar, but it's not happening yet. Both the altars topside have been traded, but now Bellers is kind of alone, and it is a number disadvantage. Dude Daniel jumping on top of Dope Monster is going to be dealing as much damage as possible. Actually, going to be utilized just to cancel the Riptire, and we'll have the deflect, but we'll still get sent underneath the tower, trying to jump away. There's 90 HP, and now... Oh, the Light Bomb onto 2, but no, only going to head into Tezopaco, and the Lightning Breath onto Xantharium, trying to get healed up, but it's not enough. The Mosh Pit lands onto 3, and all 3 are dancing, having the time of their life as they do get taken down, but they have the Bunker and Tezopaco trying to keep them stunned, but there's just not enough healing, not enough damage coming out for them. And that's going to be a teamfight victory for BoomerGaming, but they still lost the altars during that. Their core is at 7 health. Sure, they won the fight. Yes, they still have a full level lead. But how much is that really going to be able to net them for the rest of the game? They still need to deal 29 damage to the core. I think Heavy Hitterz, even if they lose 1 or 2 more team fights, should safely be able to get their level 20 this game. So it's really going to depend now. How much can BoomerGaming do for the next fight? Because if they lose 1 more team fight, the game's over for them. They're going to lose the altar, and they're going to lose the boss, and that's more than enough damage, even if they only get 3 forts with that altar push. So, Just as I say that, that's the answer. If that's what you're worried about when there's a single altar next one, just take the boss yourself. It'll help you get a little bit more of that pressure, and it's also going to prevent that single altar win condition for heavy hitters. So I do admire that play coming out from them. And now the Shadow Charge going to get hit onto Dude Daniel, but it's a Genji, not that easy to lock down. Does need a lot of stuns with absolutely no frames in between in order to get picked off. They will take down their Sapper Camp, so Heavy Hitters able to get that for themselves as well. And the Power Slide going to land onto Ifeed, and now the Polymorph is also onto Bellers, and Bellers is in the middle of everyone. Uses the Shadow Charge, Light Bomb onto 2, and the Lightning Breath over top. X-Strike on top of everyone, but the leap at the backside, another X-Strike, E-Packatron taking so much damage. Same with Dope Buster, E-Packatron still trying to get taken down. And Tezo Paco didn't get the mosh pit onto the front line, so there was no peel. Now Ifeed is taking so much DPS. Everyone just auto-attacking just a little bit more, able to get the jet propulsion, but it's not enough. 3 are down, Heavy Hitters. 3 for nothing. The altar is available, and Zentharium. Sorry, did I say 3? I meant to say 4. And that's going to be a massive team fight for them. They're going to be able to get this altar. And the Sapper Camp as well. If they're able to get this altar and 2 of these Sappers, that's going to be game. They need to protect these Sappers. But Beller needs to make sure this Sapper Camp does not reach the base. This could be it. The 5 damage is coming through right now. And now they're all trying. They're pushing in. The Sapper's already here, but they're going to get the stuns. And they did it. Heavy Hitters wins game number 2. And we are going to a map number 3 and definitely a map number 4. And just like that, Heavy Hitters shows they may have been out in game number 1, but they are definitely not out of this game. With that triple altar immediately off the bat, it is so much harder to play for BoomerGaming because any even trade after that benefits Heavy Hitters so much. But even on top of that, they were able to win so many fights. And just like that, Heavy Hitters evens out the game. We're going to go once again to a short break, but before we do, this time I'd like to shill for AFK Journey. Thank you, AFK Journey, for sponsoring this stream. Download for free today. AFK Journey is a gacha exploration collection game. Try it now for free, and just by installing it, even if you decide you don't want to play it, it still helps me out a lot and will help me continue bringing these streams for you for the NGS. Now we're going to go to a short break. And when we come back, we're going into game number 3. Alright, and we are back for map number 3, Alterac Pass this time, for BoomerGaming and Heavy Hitterz. Now that it's 1-1, we are officially back to our usual format of the best of 3. But the main difference is the amount of maps left in the pool is slowly shrinking. We will do a quick map check probably after this game, but we will have to see. Anyway, the bans are going to be coming out as, again, Alterac Pass, also a pretty big map, so same kind of pressure does come out. However, the difference this time is it takes a lot more time to take down those camps and summon the cavalry. We are seeing a different ban coming out this time. The Samuro, the Last Vikings, and Mephisto, pretty standard, but this time BoomerGaming said, you know what, dude, Daniel? You have been an absolute thorn in our side with that Genji. We're just not going to let you play it anymore. And now Hogger is going to get locked in by BoomerGaming. And since they decided to ban that Genji, that means Garrosh is open for Tezopaco. And that's immediately what's going to be locked in. So I have seen the Garrosh ban against Heavy Hitterz many times. What I haven't seen is the Garrosh actually played. I believe even the last time I've casted Heavy Hitterz, Tezopaco never got Garrosh. So I'm very interested to see just what's going to come out from Tezopaco. I'm sure there is a reason why it's been banned so many times. And then other than that, they did go with Brightwing once again for K-Star. Going to be the third game on the Brightwing. But for BoomerGaming, once again, just absolutely changing who they pick. This time they're going to have the Joanna and the Hanzo. I believe the Hogger is also new for them, so that is going to be... They still have not picked the same hero twice so far in this series. They have constantly picked something new, and now the Rhaegar is banned out, so they're not going to be able to get that healer for themselves. Anduin is still available if they want to run the Anduin back again. But now which ban is going to come out from BoomerGaming? They still need to ban out an offlaner. Blaze good ban. Leoric potentially. Or they could go for the DPSs. Junkrat's also incredibly annoying on Alterac Pass. Arguably as much as Hanzo is, so. And they will go with the Junkrat ban after all. Look at me slowly learning the picks and bans of this game. Bet no one thought I'd go this far. Definitely not me, but we have, and we're going to appreciate that. Now, 2 more picks are going to be coming in from the Heavy Hitterz. They definitely need to DPS. They have not yet picked their DPSs. They have not picked their offlaners. Dahak is available. Blaze is available. And Blaze is going to get locked in by Ape Monkey. As for DPS, Greymane, very solid pick, and is very good at taking down these camps, because the siege camps on this map are quite strong. They're not the usual rock throwers. They are the kinds that you actually have to fight. They can damage you. So you do want a DPS that is going to be able to take them down, and the Thrall and the Stukov are going to get locked in. Now, I know I may sound exasperated, but BoomerGaming, this is 15 different heroes going into their third map. I don't know if this is intentional or if this is just something that's happening right now, but they have yet to play the same hero twice this series. And that's going to be true all the way through series number 3. Now Xantharium is going to go onto that Maiev again. Maiev was left open this time around, so. And overall, I do like this Heavy Hitterz draft quite a bit. I think that in game number 1, they definitely had a little bit of an issue where they were lacking a little bit of DPS, since dude Daniel was on that Genji instead of the Greymane. Greymane able to pull out a lot more DPS, so honestly I like both of these drafts. These are both pretty standard, and we're just gonna have to see who's able to play it better in game number 3. Alright, and we are on Alterac Pass. And it's going to be interesting to see just how the lane assignments go. It is a very interesting map that not a lot of MOBAs have, where the actual lanes are not lined up. the fort for the top side over on red team is slightly higher than the one for the left team, and vice versa on the bot side. So there is a shorter and a longer lane here coming out from both these sides. It's a very slight difference, but it is noticeable. And also changes the layout of the jungle, how much jungle they have to traverse in order to be able to move between lanes. Now the Sonic Arrow is going to be utilized. They're going to be able to spot each other out. No hard committals coming out from either side yet, as Tezopaco is going to throw J-Shifts into the backside, and they're just able to deal so much damage. The Hog Wild is going to be used, and will be able to spin away, but now Xantharium is also kind of caught a little bit, and will get thrown away by Tezopaco, so little bit of what's to come already being shown. So much pullback coming through with the Garrosh pick, with the Wrecking Ball. And what I'm starting to understand here with their team composition is the amount of distance they can pull someone back. If they're able to combo together the Wrecking Ball from Tezopaco and just the chains coming out from the Maiev, they're going to be able to get a huge amount of distance. Sorry, I keep forgetting Umbral Bind. I'm trying to learn this name, but for some reason keeps escaping me. And as Xantharium is just going to be trading with Bellers, but Joanna very good in those 1v1 situations. Maiev not quite that super powerful DPS. As Ape Monkey is going to be matching iFeed. Thrall very strong in the 1v1. Does have a slower clear speed. So that could be a little bit of advantage for Ape Monkey. Could try to push onto this tower a little bit earlier. But the Twin Stream did get nerfed when it comes to tower damage. Dude Daniel going to finish off the Siege Camp. But the Siege Camp is already on the way for BoomerGaming. So really going to depend how much they're going to be able to, how much of an advantage they're going to be able to pull out by having it first. But Xantharium is just going to block it out and make sure that that Siege Camp isn't going to land. And in fact, due to the positioning, is going to be a little bit more difficult for them. And now the Hog Wild is going to be going to go through everyone and everything. So a decent amount of DPS coming through them. J-Shifts knocks Tezopaco into the wall. Tezopaco is starting to fish. Is on to Bellers and will use the Wrecking Ball to throw them back, but does have the Iron Skin. Xantharium does jump in, but no one to land on. Jet Propulsion just going to be used for poke, and it is a lot of damage landing onto Bellers, even through the Iron Shield, taken down to around half HP, and will have to Hearth. But J-Shifts was able to get the push in over on the bot side, and in the top side we see iFeed and Ape Monkey trading back and forth, both kind of low on mana right now, just trying to get that pressure coming in. And now the prisoners are going to be spawning. I don't expect either of these teams to really go for this objective right away. It is a very difficult objective to cap, especially early game when the spawn timers are still low. You do need to have a total control period of 30 seconds. And as the respawn timer is around 10 to 15, even winning a fight doesn't necessarily guarantee you the full timer. So I do expect both of these teams are just going to try leveling up, just going to try keeping these siege camps, and just little pickoffs, going for little pushes, little plays. That's what I expect to see coming out from both of these sides, as the siege camp going to get finished off by Dude Daniel. And there is a little bit of play happening on the top side. iFeed going to get slowed down and is getting body blocked. Tezopaco does throw iFeed into the back line, and Xantharium's here as well. And they have all four, and they're just going to get that pickoff. Able to get the rotation of 4, but because they send 4 to the opposite side of the map, BoomerGaming are going to start channeling onto this prisoner camp. And now Tezopaco just running in, not scared of anything. Who needs a mount when you can just walk right in? And that's kind of the trade that you get for this kind of a map on Alterac Pass. They did get a pickoff, and it cost them 17 seconds of the objective. But those 17 seconds don't necessarily get you anything. So if they're able to just continue defending at least another 13 seconds before their objective does go down, as J-Shifts is starting to take a lot of damage, is just going to knock them back. But even with Hogwild, doesn't really have anywhere to go, is going to find a perfect angle, but it's just going to spin right back and going deeper and deeper into enemy territory. Bellers is trying to buy a little bit of space, but J-Shifts just trying to waste their time as much as possible. Will get taken down, so Dude Daniel going to pick up that kill. And now it is going to be the 2-for-0, but because they were able to drag in that many members from the side of Heavy Hitters, they were able to get a little bit of the XP back at the top side. iFeed able to get the push. And now they are going to be starting to fight over for this objective in the bot side. The prisoner camp is getting cancelled. Ebagatron with the lurking arm. Also a very annoying spell. and they have captured the camp. And the question is, how long are they going to be able to hold it? Beller's able to condemn onto 4. Tezopaco taking so much damage on the front line. Does get the face shift as well, and J-Shift gets pulled into the silence. But look at how much damage is happening on both sides. Tezopaco does go down, but 2 go down on the side of BoomerGaming. As Xantharium able to use that Umbral Blind, pull back both the Thrall and the Hogger. Now the silence is coming out. They do have the 2 seconds. Beller's trying to buy a little bit of time. And the cavalry will arrive for heavy hitters. Still level 9, so no talent advantage on this push. But they are going to have the first objective started. And that's kind of what I mean by they got the pick off on the top side. And while they lose 17 seconds, at the end of the day, those 17 seconds don't matter. It's not like towers where you get a little bit of damage, or even something like gardens where you have the 1 seed for the rest of the game. You'll need fewer. All the advantage that BoomerGaming were able to bring back is now gone. Heavy hitters were able to bring it back in their own favor. As now, they're just going to start pushing down onto this bot lane. They do have a split push happening in the top side, but we're going to focus over where the bulk of the players are. And they're able to deal so much damage this bot side fort. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down here. Xantharium looking for a play, able to get the Umbral Bind onto Dope Monster. And just kind of zoning away the DPS so that they cannot clear it out. Tezopaco is going to run in. Level 10 is now hit. Not going to be able to get anything else. The Polymorph lands, and they're going to get the Hanzo. Xantharium able to get the Umbral Bind onto Megatron. And now it's just Beller's left alive, but does have the Iron Skin, and that will bring enough HP that they can tank it back. And just like that, they're going to lose 2. They're going to lose their fort. And, whoa, sorry, I did not expect, but iFeed also gets caught. Umbral binded into the backline as well. The Sunder not going to be enough. And Tezopaco kind of, forgot there's a wall there. Has to reset. Beller's not going to let Tezopaco get back onto the horse. But we'll be okay in the end. There's no one really there to punish that low HP. And they were also able to get a decent amount of damage over onto this topside wall. And with the pressure of the kills, they have a little bit of time to take down this mid wall as well. Tezopaco looking for the Wrecking Ball, but does have the Iron Skin. Will prevent any follow-up as well. The Curse Bullet does come out, but the Blessed Shield, no gonna be enough. So much damage coming out from heavy hitters. And this is what I mean. This is what they need with their team comp. The Greymane dealing so much damage, but unfortunately the follow-up stun not going to land. The Dragon Arrow just goes off to the side. And heavy hitters with yet another very dominating early game performance. 8-1 is the scoreline in terms of kills, so I do think it is possible for BoomerGaming to bring it back. Don't get me wrong. Their team comp is a little bit lower on the DPS since they did go for that double bruiser front line instead of the double DPS back line. So it is going to be a little bit harder for them once they come into the late game. But it is also the Maiev Xantharium. Not quite the highest DPS, but you trade it for an amazing amount of utility. Now the bosses have spawned on both sides of the map and has been started by Dude Daniel. And we're going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see this approach. Xantharium going to just do a little backflip to dodge the boss's stomp attack. And they're going to start immediately hitting onto it. Sonic Arrow. Now they're aware that this is definitely started. Bellers does get hit over by the Cursed Arrow and so much damage. And the boss kills Xantharium. And now on the backside, Tezopaco does try to throw them away. The Sunder is going to push them off of the boss camp. Ape Monkey. And oh my god, that's going to be 4 kills going over for BoomerGaming. And they're able to steal the boss end. Just a very slight mistake. Just slightly not enough DPS. And heavy hitters, they lose their lead. They lose the advantage they've managed to build up for themselves. And now not only are they going to lose all that, they're also going to lose the fort. There's no one to defend against this boss. They're going to be able to just fully DPS it and start onto the camp as well. And someone's still going to have to deal with that boss. That boss did not take any damage from the fort. So now Megatron and Bellers, they're going to try and take this prisoner camp as well. We'll see. Tezopaco is already here trying to slow them down, but going to be hard to approach as a solo. Xantharium is going to be here now as well. And will start channeling it down. So they are able to get that 24-second channel. And one more fight. One more winning fight for BoomerGaming. And they should be able to secure this. And the XP advantage that was on the side of heavy hitters is now gone. Both sides are at 14. Siege camps going to get taken down by both sides. iFeed is a little... Oh, sorry, not iFeed. Ape Monkey is a little bit behind on the tempo, but should be able to secure it, no problem. And this is where the game starts getting a little bit more intense. Heavy Hitterz had a very big lead, but now that lead is gone. And it's just going to come down to the team fights once again. And we've seen before, BoomerGaming in those late game team fights have performed a little bit better than the Heavy Hitterz. And now both teams are starting to group together. They're looking over at that prisoner camp advantage. And both sides do have a pushing lane right now. The bottom fort is gone for BoomerGaming, so Heavy Hitterz does have the push on the bot side, but BoomerGaming has the push on the top side. However, because the camp is in the top side, it is ever so slightly better for Heavy Hitterz to be here. And the lurking arm is going to be used. Ape Monkey trying to channel, but not going to happen quite yet. The massive shove. I don't think I've ever called it a massive shove. I've always called it the extendo arm, and I'm going to continue doing that. But they're able to get the silver bullet, curse bullet over onto Bellers, and Bellers able to run away in time. And now the Sunder's going to split the fight in two. Tezopaco going to get stunned into the wall. Is going to get healed. The bunker does come out as well. Tezopaco not going to get healed in time because the healer goes down. Xantharium trying to deal some damage on the backline. It is a 1-for-1 tank for healer. Xantharium is also going to get finished off in the backline. And Tezopaco somehow survives, but the rest of the team does not. So it is going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of BoomerGaming. I don't know if that's going to be enough to start taking over onto this, as iFeed is going to get hit by the curse. Blood is just absolutely blown up. Okay, there was a thrall here before. You may have missed it, but they're able to get that kill back. So 2-for-2 at the end of the day. Heavy Hitterz able to defend against it. But both of these side lanes have been pushing out in the meantime. So what I am curious about is the damage that has been dealt. The bot side cannon tower has been gone, but the wall here is pretty healthy. So overall, slightly better push coming out from BoomerGaming. But like, I don't even know what to say. That was a very close team fight, and it's going to continue this way. No side managed to secure the objective. We are just going to reset and regroup for attempt number 2. No channel was ever finished off by Heavy Hitterz before, but Ape Monkey going to be able to get it now. Extendo arm already utilized by Bagatron. It's a short cooldown though, only about 17 seconds. And now the power shots, and all the poke is coming out from the Hanzo. Oh, as Bellers gets knocked down into the back, curse bullet going to land. Tezopaco taking a decent amount of DPS, and lurking arm over top, but the Sunder is going to push Tezopaco away, and Tezopaco is on the wrong side of the team trying to get healed up, has a lot of armor but not enough, as J-Shifts is going to use a shockwave, and they will take down Xantharium as well. So that's a 2-for-0 once again for BoomerGaming, and 6.3 seconds still left. Not going to be enough. Bellers and Dope Monster are going to be grouping and should be able to secure their first set of cavalry in this game. Bellers just trying to keep Dude Daniel away, keep them from trying to take this back. The Polymorph gonna get hit by K-Star, but no follow-up will be had. And the cavalry will now spawn. The waves already pushed in. J-Shift has a very large wave here in the spot side. But it looks like both of these teams are going to be grouping into this mid lane. Tower going to get taken down. And they're all going to be grouping in, just trying to take this mid lane fort. The bot side fort is also taking so much damage. And J-Shift's just getting a lot of DPS on it. Hogwild going to be utilized, but it's just going to get pulled away. That is going to help as well. Condemn used on it onto Ape Monkey. Phase shift coming out as well, but the doggos are not going to be able to land the root. But now the fight is slowly coming through, and they're able to get so many people. The Dragon Arrow lands on a 4, and they're able to get the Emerald Bind in the backline. And Bagatron gets pulled in with the Wrecking Ball, and also pulled in with the Emerald Bind. And in the meanwhile, oh, but Dude Daniel gets pushed away. It's so close. Dope Monster 200 HP, but now Dude Daniel's on the wrong side of the team. But we'll be able to take down Hanzo. What an amazing play coming out. Just mechanical prowess coming out from Dude Daniel. And in the meanwhile, the cavalry, though, is damaging their base hardcore. All of their forts are now gone. Their keep going to take a decent amount of damage from this topside cavalry. None of it's going to go down. Their mid wall is also going to take a decent amount of damage as well. But there's still 30 seconds before anyone spawns. The boss camp is available. The top boss camp also just respawned. And I would like to see Heavy Hitterz try and take one of these objectives. And this game has just been absolutely back and forth. Each of these fights just won by a hair. If they were able to take Dude Daniel down in the backline, that would have been it. Dude Daniel would have been taken down. They would have still had the Hanzo. They would have been able to transition that into a teamfight victory for BoomerGaming. But Dude Daniel knew that they had enough damage to just burst down this Hanzo. And Dope Monster played well. Like, by no means are they misplaying to get caught out like that. It is just pure mechanics coming out from both of these two teams. Now, they do have the top boss, but are immediately running over for that bottom boss. It is a play I've seen in the past. Very common play over on Alterac Pass, especially when the prisoner camp has not yet spawned. And they are going to just go immediately onto this boss. They should not be able to contest it. They will have a little bit of a push coming out for themselves in the mid lane. BoomerGaming and J-Shift just going to make sure they have at least one wave in their favor. As the boss was finished off, will not take that top lane fort, so still a slight advantage for BoomerGaming in terms of the map pressure. At least once this boss also gets taken down, because that's going to be something they will have to deal with. And it's also right next to the camp, so it's something they can help push in a little bit as well. Now, Dude Daniel starting the channel. Can it get canceled? The polymorph is going to prevent the cancel, so they are going to have the channel beginning. All 10 members from both these sides are going to be here. Dragon Arrow only lands on one this time. And now they're going to be able to get the Warden Cage. But no pullback. And the Shockwave lands onto 3. J-Shift just on top of everyone. 8 Monkey's now the wrong side of the map. Does have the bunker still. And Zetharium is able to run away. But J-Shift's or 8 Monkey will not be able to. As Dope Monster able to get the last hit over the wall. And they were able to channel it for 23 seconds. But this boss in the meanwhile has taken down the wall. So someone has to deal with that. It is a 3-on-5 on the map. They're not able to get all 3, but Xantharium is going to go down. So in the 3v4, they're still not able to defend enough. That's going to be the channel begun now for BoomerGaming. Now, there is 40 seconds till everyone's back up, but look at this top wave getting pushed in as well. K-Star going to immediately group and just start shoving this out. With help of the Forge, should be able to. And Dude Daniel, it looks like they're just going to be giving up on this objective for now. They're going to have to defend against another set of cavalry. And we'll just try to take this camp, but Bellers is going to be here in time, has the condemn. The curse bullet is going to land. They're trying to fight. It's a 2-on-2 right now. The polymorph does come out. Dude Daniel going to be invisible, but they're able to get the Dragon Arrow onto the healer and the Sunder as well. But the K-Star does have the Blink Shield to be able to get away. And the siege camp will get stolen as well. And just look at this massive camp. Extendo Arm going to just stun Tezopaco for a little bit. As Bellers going to get hit by the Groundsbreaker. The Wrecking Ball not going to do anything into the Iron Skin. But the amount of pressure coming out from all these waves. Look, the top wave, they fixed it, but it's already broken once again. Grouping 4 in the mid lane and grouping J-Shifts in the bot lane. Completely solo. That's going to be 3 pushing lanes coming in from BoomerGaming. And this is going to be a very difficult defense. Both sides do have their level 20s. Then I haven't even been able to talk about that just because the fights never end. The teams are approaching level 22, and I can only now start bringing up the fact they have level 20s. And that's going to be all I can say, because now the push commences. The cavalry has arrived. The wall not going to last too long, and now the cavalry is already hitting onto the fort, and it's level 21, so they're able to get a propulsion onto the backside, but the Condemn going to land onto 2, and Tezopaco Extendo armed away. The Cursed Bullet lands on 2 Bellers, and tries to get the pullback with the Emerald Mine, but not going to happen. Shockwave lands on a 2 once again. Arrow is going to go wide, but it doesn't matter. They lost their Brightwing. They have no healer, and so much damage trying to come through. Beller's very low, Jason's very low, and Beller's trying to survive. Has the healing coming out from Megatron, but they will lose the Hogger. It is going to be a 4-on-4 left on the map. Their core is starting to take damage, but they've lost their bot keep. They lost their top keep. This mid keep also going to go down. So they were able to tie on the fight, but what does it really matter? Xantharium now has the shade coming through and will be able to land onto Ivy, but will not get the pushback. But Tezopaco is alone in the fight, does have the healer, and that's the advantage they have for now. A lot of self-healing coming out from Tezopaco is going to be enough to keep this game alive for now, but their base is in shambles, and it looks like they were considering it on the side of BoomerGaming, but they're just going to take their victory and back away. The core is exposed. There are no keeps. Each of these waves is going to be pushing in for the rest of this game. But luckily for the side of Heavy Hitters, this is a map where your core can heal, and it heals very quickly. But at the same time, there's no shield, and it is able to get taken down very quickly once all 3 keeps are down. The main advantage of the core of this map is as long as the any of the keeps are up, the defense drastically goes up for the core as well. But they have nothing. They have no buildings. They do have a boss spawn in the top lane, both teams grouping up. And if BoomerGaming is able to keep them here for a long enough time, all of their waves will push in. Their core is going to get pressured. And I gotta say, Heavy Hitters is in a bit of a timer here. They have to force out a play, and they have to force it out soon. Tezopaco slowly fishing, but not able to get any kind of play starting quite yet. But Heavy Hitters, you gotta go. Tezopaco is definitely fishing, and BoomerGaming knows that they're the ones that can take their time. Look, this bot wave is going to shove in. This mid wave is going to shove in. So it really depends. Are they going to be able to pull the trigger in time? And they're looking for it. The fort doesn't have a lot of HP. They could try to force this out as well. And they will finish off the fort, but that's all they can get. The boss is still available. Their waves are still getting pushed in. They do have K-Star on the Brightwing, so could send back the Brightwing, who's able to join into this team fight. Could be very big for them, as they instead just decide to continue pressing out this top wave. And look at the size of these 2 waves now. They are definitely being pressured in. And it looks like they're going to decide to just let the core fight it out. And they're going to try and utilize these prisoner camps. They're going to make BoomerGaming fight into them. But once again, if BoomerGaming just win enough to delay, it could be all they need. They do have a lot of engage that they can bring out from long distance. They have that Dragon Arrow. They have the Blessed Shield. And Dope Monster just poking down Ape Monkey over in the top lane. K-Star not in range to heal there. But the little health orbs are going to be coming out. And their core is now taking DPS. But should be able to spin to win. But now the engage does come in. But not going to land the Dragon Arrow. Belief's able to get the Condemn on it too. And they're going to take down the healer. Ape Monkey going to get taken down. And now Zentharium is in the backline. But it is kind of caught out. Dude Daniel trying to fight it off. They will be able to secure the objective. So it's going to be a 2-for-1 so far, but the fight is still ongoing. Tezopaco gonna have the phase shift coming out. And Tezopaco, going to be able to get the Wrecking Ball onto 2. Dude, Daniel still dealing DPS over on the backside, and both of these sides are so low. And so is the core at 10k. If they did not secure that objective, that could have been game. And in fact, the cavalry is going to first off shove out these waves for Heavy Hitters. But how much can they get off of it? They are still down in number. It is still going to be a 4 versus 3. And on top of that, it does look like all of these waves are going to crash at different times. Tezopaco hiding in the bush, looking for a potential play, and that's kind of what they need. They are able to throw a Bellish into the back line, and the Curse Bullet lands as well. The Shockwave lands on a Dude Daniel. They're able to get the stun, and they're able to get the pullback. Bellish going to take down K-Star. And now Tezopaco is stuck in the front line, just trying to tank onto Bellish, and Dude Daniel able to dodge away against a Dragon Arrow this time. But the Sunder from iFeed lands. And now Tezopaco trying to buy as much time as possible. Able to deal a decent amount of damage. Does have the heal coming out. And Dope Monster taking DPS, but will be able to out-damage this Garrosh. And while they're not going to be able to... maybe they could still end the game. There's still about 30 seconds, but they are going to be able to defend. They lose their mid lane fort. So that is something for them, but... what is this game? We're at 24 minutes, level 24 coming out from both these teams. And look at this MVP cavalry. Bot lane no longer pushing for BoomerGaming. MVP Horde Cavalry. And now there's still 30 seconds until the respawn timer does come out. But there is the boss. The boss is up. And the boss can get taken down. They're just going to let this cavalry die to the core. But because they're waiting for the core to take it down, it did give them a little bit more time to respawn. They should definitely be able to take down this bot side boss. It will take some time before they can group up on the side of Heavy Hitters. But they may not be able to do the double boss combo. But Ape Monkey, looking to fight, was seeing if there was possibly some play where they could utilize that bunker and just delay as long as possible. But there will not be a play. And it looks like BoomerGaming, they're looking to end with this boss. They're going to be pushing in this bot side. They're not going to go for the double boss play. At least not immediately. They're going to push in with this boss. And this is going to be another very tense situation. Any team fight victory could be the game. It is still 1-1, so they would still be in the series, but Bellers is in the front line just trying to get this boss to push inwards. And if they're able to push it in far enough, as Dope Monster is in the warning cage, is going to get pulled back with a lurking arm, is going to land over to the backside. And now Tezupaco gets absolutely burst down while Ape Monkey and Dude Daniel are just trying to DPS onto this boss. But the Dragon Arrow lands over the top and the Sonic Arrow to stun as well. Dude Daniel has to jump back and they're going to be able to take... Oh no, never mind. The bunker does come out in time. They're going to be able to try and defend. Ape Monkey is trying to run away, but doesn't matter if you're alive if your core isn't. And BoomerGaming going to take game number 3. So, how are y'all liking this series so far? Because I cannot think of a closer way or a better way to kick off the Nexus Division playoffs than this series so far. We're in the 3-minute, or we're done game 3. It is 2-1 for BoomerGaming. There is going to be a game number 4. And it was a 26-minute game. They hit level 25 on BoomerGaming. That one push, they were able to get so much done with it. And I gotta say, Heavy Hitters, they were able to hold on much longer than I thought they would. Once you lose 3 keeps on Alterac Pass, it is so hard to keep the game going. That core goes down very quickly from the side pushes. But once again, we're seeing both of these teams are able to win these games. And there is still at least one more game. We are going to go to a short break, and when we come back, it'll be game number 4. Don't go anywhere. And we are into map number 4, Cursed Hollow. Both these teams seem to like these massive vertical maps, so once again, we did have Garden of Terror over in map number 1, and that map did go over to BoomerGaming. It is a very similar map to Garden of Terror, so Cursed Hollow, I will likely see similar bans. I could even imagine similar picks. All of these games have been so close. With the exception of the Towers of Doom win from Heavy Hitterz, I think each of these games has been on an absolute razor's edge. But anyway, we do see an actual change in bans coming out. The Genji going to get banned away again from Dude Daniel. So these are the same bans from last game, but the difference this time is that Garrosh is still available. They were able to play it into Tezo Paco last game, and okay, so I shouldn't be surprised, but I am still a little bit disappointed. This Hanzo for Dope Monster, this will be the first time this series they have played the same hero twice. And now, like, I still gotta give them insane credit. 3 games in a row with no repeats is insane. HOTS does not have that many heroes, and definitely not that many meta heroes, so it's sad, but it is expected. Okay, so we can at least stop focusing on that and get back into the draft. So it is going to be the ETC coming out again from Tezo Paco. Even with the Garrosh open, the ETC has worked really well for them. And K-Star on the Brightwing yet again. It's a solid comfort pick. Brightwing does a lot for the team. Has a phase shift, so always a good pick. And now Diablo and Stukov going to get locked in for Bellers and E-Begatron. The Lurkin Arm and the Extending Arm. Very powerful tools. I know it's supposed to be the Heavy Shove or something like that, but no, Extendo Arm just sounds way better. I do know, okay, this is a hill I will die on. No one's fought me on it yet, but I'll be ready. And now we are going to be going into this next set of bans. Offlaners are still available. Cursed Hollow, Dahaka, Blaze, and Dahaka will get banned out here. And kind of the same story for BoomerGaming. The Hogger, I honestly think that Hogger was able to deal a lot of damage over to the backline. Those shockwaves were absolutely insane. So I could see that getting banned away. Or they could try to get rid of the Maiev. Because Xantharium, even though they lost, and there it is, Xantharium was able... I just realized that's Xanthanarium. I was missing an entire syllable in that name. I apologize, Xanthanarium, if you do end up watching this replay, but the Maiev was able to constantly deal so much chaos over on the back line, and at one point, one of the main team fights they won over in that mid game in the Alterac Pass, Xanthanarium was able to divide the fight into 2 with that Warden's with the Warden's Wall. And because the front line could not link up with the back line, it was super difficult for them to play it out for the side of BoomerGaming, and they did end up losing the team fight and a lot of objectives afterwards. As we do see the next picks, and we do have the Artanis going to be locked in for Ape Monkey. Definitely more of a dueling bruiser rather than that standard lane shover and XP soaker. Oh, but we do have a new pick. J-Shift's going to lock in that Cassia. That's going to be their 16th hero locked in this series for game number 4. So 16 out of 20 being unique is pretty good. Now Xanthanarium, they are still missing either a DPS or a potential secondary bruiser. I can't think of anything that could be good. Honestly, Deathwing could be interesting here. But they will go for the Li Ming, which honestly is also very interesting for this map. Not something we have seen this series either. Very high burst and very high potential of being able to chain one kill into the other. And we have seen that so far Heavy Hitterz has had the control in the early games for each of these games. But will they be able to snowball it this time with the Artanis and with the Li Ming? We are going to once again find out once we get into map number 4. All right, and we are into map number 4. Both teams are going to be grouping towards that mid lane. Let's see if the tradition continues. Dude Daniel, are you going to reset now? Nope. Dude Daniel is now focused. And that's how you know that the focus is really starting to come in for these teams. Prior to this, every single game, they would start by going over to this gate, hearthing back, and then running back to the gate. So this is showing that the mentality on heavy hitters has changed. They are in this to win this game. They are absolutely focused. They are locked in. And they are going to start with a push over to that top side. They have Li Ming. They have Tezupaco going to be super tanky. And look at how much damage they're dealing over to this bot side cannon tower. And just immediately going to get a very big lead in terms of map objectives. Now Bellers does have the shadow charge, but the lurking arm not going to be able to follow through. But the overpower is going to pull Tezupaco back and will deal a decent amount of damage, but not going to be able to commit with anything else. The shadow charge also going to be utilized. Power slide, face melt still available, but not going to be utilized, as we are starting to slowly mellow out. Now the mid wave was pushed in. J-Shifts dealt a lot of damage to the wall, and iFeed currently dealing damage over to this bot side wall as well. And that was a full lane of minions that was not picked up by the side of heavy hitters. So that could change something, as we do see the power slide is going to come in. Bellers gonna get the shadow charge, but not going to be able to follow it up with the overpower. And both these teams are just so on top of it. Their rotations have been very crisp so far. Their pressure, like, they're playing on a knife's edge, and you can feel the intensity coming out for both these teams just by how fast they're starting to play. And you know what? I much prefer that kind of style. Some teams, once the going gets tough, they will start playing slower. They will start playing safer. Neither of these teams has been doing that so far. Heavy Hitters and BoomerGaming, they're ready to fight, as we do see the shadow charge going to land for Tezupaco, but no DPS here, so Tezupaco will be able to just power slide away. And the camps are now going to start getting taken down. Dude Daniel going to be hitting the Bruiser camp, Siege camp, Bruiser camp, but the second Siege camp has not been started yet by BoomerGaming. And I do think it's because there is a slight advantage in this map for the red team. This lane is a bit closer here than this lane is. And typically you want more people over towards the mid lane, so it is a little bit harder to reach. It's a very small thing, and it only matters really in these first few levels. Probably the first 2 spawns, really, as they are able to face melt Bellers back in, but only going to deal a little bit of damage. And the auto attacks from Dude Daniel just slowly poking down Bellers. The Bruiser camp is going to hit onto this wall. I don't know how much damage they're going to be able to do, as the opposite Bruiser camp is going to be able to link up with it and kind of prevent it as well. Now it is going to be the Lightning Fury build coming out from the Cassia, and the Scattershot build coming out from Hanzo. It is pretty standard, but I have seen a couple of these other builds being used recently, especially after the patch. So always worth checking it out and making sure we do have all those talents coming through. Now this mid lane is just going to be collected down right now by heavy hitters. They're going to be able to shove out this Bruiser camp, and the first tribute has spawned. Ape Monkey gonna walk towards it, tries to get the swap, but will not be able to get it onto Ebagatron. Now both teams, 4 players from the side of heavy hitters, but we do have J-Shifts shoving out that top side. Now Jet Propulsion does land onto Ape Monkey, and will utilize a lot of those cooldowns, as all 5 members now for the side of heavy hitters are here. They really want to secure this camp. Ebagatron gonna be able to throw the little infections thing. That's a good name for it. But anyway, Bellers is still standing on the front line, and they're still not letting K-Star lock this in. But they are going to bring 4 now. So, and at the same time, they were able to move Ape Monkey over on the top side. So it is 4v4 down here. And Bellers is taking a decent amount of damage. And Ebagatron takes a huge amount of burst from Xanthanarium. And they're slowly but surely pushing them away. But the twin shots are going to be going through. Bellers takes so much damage, taken down around 300 HP. The orbs over top. Magic missile. The spell armor able to keep Bellers alive there. And that's why you pick those talents that give you the magic armor. That's the only reason they were left alive. And the scatter shot from Dope Monster still buying so much time. Able to land a decent amount of damage. And they're able to get the polymorph as well. Ebagatron taking so much damage. The orb not going to come out in time. The healing pathogen was able to come out in time And the way to pustule is the name of that other ability that was being very annoying, as Ape Monkey is going on to J-Shift. J-Shift taking so much damage, but not going to have enough DPS with that Blade Dash. So overall, small win for Heavy Hitters. They were able to get the first tribute. 2 more, and they will be able to summon this curse. As the Scattershot quest has been completed by the Hanzo. So that's going to be a lot. 2 more arrows coming through, a lot more damage, and a lot easier to interrupt the tributes, as if it was not easy enough already for that Hanzo. Xanthanam going to deal a decent bit of damage over to Megatron. And onto Bellers will dismount as well. And they're going to be able to hold this choke point at least for a little bit. And they're going to utilize this pressure to instead keep Dope Monster away. But now we are starting over onto this objective. And they're going to be able to get J-Shifts over to the backside. Just needs a little bit more damage. And Dude Daniel is going to be able to secure that kill. And now Ape Monkey going to try and get the swap. And Megatron gets pulled into the backside, the face swap. And will be able to collect 2 kills. So Heavy Hitters, for the 4th game in a row, able to win these early game fights. Tezo Paco going to keep Bellers away, and they're onto this boss camp. And while I feed, they did try to keep only 4 to help delay and defend this tribute. Should be able to get a lot of damage onto this fort. They're going to lose the 2nd tribute, and they're going to lose this boss. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a 6-minute boss. I don't even know how strong it is and how much damage it is going to be able to get. But if they're able to get this fort, that on its own is already worth it. And they do have the pressure to help take this fort as well. The wall has already gone down, and it doesn't seem like they can even approach to defend this fort. They might even be able to push in a little bit onto the wall, though the Lurking Arm has been able to deal a lot of damage over onto this boss. So overall, they get the fort. Their top fort is still alive with just 1400 HP. And the 3rd tribute is going to spawn. This will be the curse for Heavy Hitters. But luckily for the side of BoomerGaming, they do have their level 10s. They could try and contest this. This boss is going to get finished off. And they're going to be a little bit late to join the party. But now the topside boss is going to get taken down as well. So Heavy Hitters applying so much pressure with these picks, with these maps, and just taking down all of these bosses. They'll be in a very good position to fight. Now Tezo Paco going to get overpowered to the backside. And now the Disintegrate coming through onto everyone. Bellers going to get the Valkyrie as well. The Lightning Breath will burn down K-Star. But now the Suppression Pulse is going to blind them. Tezo Paco is going to be able to buy a little bit of time with that. But overall, a teamfight victory for BoomerGaming. The Dragon Arrow coming through over top and will land. Do they have any follow-up? And yes, the Shadow Charge is going to land. And the Lurking Arm. And the overpowered Dude Daniel not going to live for too much longer. But the swap does come in, and Bellers is thrown into the backline and will just get taken down as well. Dope Monster will secure that tribute, and Ape Monkey almost gets healed up by K-Star, but not in time. But still, during this entire time, the boss from Heavy Hitters will end up taking this topside fort. And it's the same old story with every single game. Heavy Hitters gets an advantage early game. BoomerGaming able to bring a team fight back once the mid game begins. But overall, this is still Heavy Hitters' favored game right now. They are behind a little bit in XP, but it is very slight, less than half of a level difference. And since they have those extra forts as well, they will be getting that passive XP. It's not a lot, but it is going to be there. Now, the 4th tribute is spawning, and it is going to be kind of cheating over to the side of the BoomerGaming. And now Bellers is going to use that Shadow Charge, just trying to keep J-Shifts alive, let J-Shifts clean up this camp, as level 13s are going to be coming out pretty soon. And depending on how long this fight gets delayed, could come out immediately as the Curse Bolt lands on iFeed. Ape Monkey going to be trading back onto iFeed as well. Had a little bit of healing as the Dragon Arrow comes through, but is going to go in between everyone. Bellers able to get the stun, and the Valkyrie going to pull everyone into the back line. And now K-Star is going to be able to jump away, and the Bendy Arm is going to get the kill. I didn't even know that that did damage, but Megatron was able to get that kill secure. And it's going to be a 1-for-0 so far, but Ape Monkey is now also getting caught. K-Star going to get hit by the Jet Propulsion. And look at the damage. K-Star is going to be able to use the Blink Heal to jump onto Dude Daniel. The Dope Monster's trying to continue chasing down, but will get dismounted. Bellers does have the overpower. The cleanse not going to be enough. And that's going to be another 2 kills going over for BoomerGaming. They're able to get the 2nd tribute. They're able to have this camp pushing in with them. And just like that, the map states evened out. but in terms of talents, in terms of levels, they have an almost full level lead. And now they're able to get the face mount, and now the extendo arm has been used. Tezopako all the way in the back line is still alive, but has no healing. The curse bullet used onto Bellers. They are trying to fight in the meanwhile. Tezopako is going to get healed up. Face shift does come out in time, but they're going to just take K-Star instead. And honestly, between the two, I think I'd much rather have the healer alive than the tank. So BoomerGaming able to get a very good map play. They were able to save this fort, and once again, keeping that 1400 HP fort alive. Oh, but they were able to get a lot of damage landed onto Xanthanarium. But now J-Shift is also taking damage from the backside. Bellers gets swapped into the team. Xanthanarium able to teleport back, and they're just auto-attacking onto Bellers. Bellers is getting healed up, but there's not enough healing. Moshpit will get swapped out. Xanthanarium is out of mana, so it is technically a 4-on-3, but it is more of a 3-on-3. Dude Daniel also going to tap back up, and now they do have the face shift coming out for Tezopako, and they're not going to have extra numbers. J-Shift is going to be taking a lot of damage. Teleport comes out over top. J-Shift running away from the bunker will get swapped back in and will go down. Bellers is back in the fight, but Xanthanarium is going to be able to secure this tribute. And now so much damage. Ivy also going to go down. And the curse has started. And there are two very important members already down on the side of BoomerGaming. And just like that, this curse is one of the strongest objectives in the game. Especially when you have no members that are able to walk up and defend against it. Tezopako just going to clear out this waves. And now this keep is already going to go down. Level 16s are on the horizon for heavy hitters. Don't have it quite yet, but they are close. They're going to get this bot side keep. And they're even going to start rotating towards the mid lane. But Beller's trying to start the fight, and they're able to get so much damage. Valkyrie going to land onto the backside. And J-Shift trying to get some damage, but there just isn't any. The lightning breath not going to last long enough. And the lurking arm in the backside. B Bagatron taking down about half HP. Has to walk all the way back into the fountain. And dude Daniel slowly starting to DPS onto this core. Are they looking to end already? Level 16s are now hit, but I think it is a little bit difficult to do. It is 5-on-4. The core is still dealing a lot of damage. But look at the damage this curse has done. Top wall gone. Mid wall slightly alive if you can count 500 HP. And the bot keep is gone as well. And with that, they're going to be able to utilize this pressure and take this bot side boss as well. Heavy hitters showing that they are here to fight. And the bot side boss has been taken. Word a bit later in the game. This boss on its own could have ended the game, but it looks like they're going to attempt to do it as well. Even in this current state, the curse bullet lands on Bellers. As the moshpit does come out, do they have any silence? Yes, they do have the silence coming out through. Bellers 40 HP will go down. So their tank is gone. Megatron at half HP. Xanthanarium does get jumped upon. Valkyrie not going to land onto anyone. Eye-Feed is in the bunker, but the bunker gets destroyed. So much damage coming out on the backside. Polymorph as well. But the Dragon Arrow lands onto all 5 members. K-Star 30 HP. But it is going... they're going to be able to survive. They're going to be able to kill the 3rd member. And the boss is onto the core. They're all alive. All on blinking health bars. But that's all you need. K-Star with the pulse healing going to be able to keep the team alive. And we might be able to go to game number 5 as the heavy hitters are just going nuts onto this core. The suppression pulse lands just to keep the minions blinded. Now Tezopako going to be zoning them away. Just a little bit of health. Do they have enough damage? And they do. We are going to a game 5. Anything you can think of that you would want from the first Nexus playoff series is this. This is exactly what you want to see. This is exactly what we, the viewers, demand from these two teams. They are both going absolutely crazy. And this would be a potential upset. 8th seed taking down the 1st seed, but honestly, with the way both of these teams are playing, I don't think I'd call it an upset. I think both of these two teams, they deserve to be in the playoffs, and they are showing why they're here. They are showing just how close the Nexus division is, and they are playing just absolutely out of their mind. If this doesn't get you pumped up for the NGS playoffs, I don't know what will. So now we are going to go to one last break, and when we come back, we are going to have one final map, and then we will see who will be the winner, BoomerGaming or Heavy Hitters. Don't go anywhere. And you thought we were going to a long break. We are not. We are back almost immediately for game number 5 between BoomerGaming and the Heavy Hitters. We are going to Infernal Shrines as the final map. And this is it. Winner takes all. Whoever's going to be able to win this map wins the series. And this is a very intense map to play on. And once again, I have to call them out for it again. They love the large maps. Both of these teams seem to really enjoy these big, wide maps. The bans are coming through already, and it is some very similar bans that we have seen. Typically, we see the Genji here from BoomerGaming. We could see something else. They do seem to be thinking about it, but no. Just gonna have the same bans for all of these last 3 games. Mephisto, Genji, Samuro, and the last Vikings. But what we have seen a lot of variety in is in the drafts themselves, in the picks themselves. We have seen so many unique heroes from both these teams. K-Star is the one exception. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Brightwing, 5 games in a row now. But I think both of these 2 teams are happy to have K-Star and Brightwing. BoomerGaming, they don't feel like they're getting absolutely destroyed just by K-Star's Brightwing, but at the same time, it's clearly doing more than enough to keep Heavy Hitters alive. And in that last team fight where they were able to push the boss into the core, that really K-Star kept the entire team alive. Everyone was on blinking health bars, so clearly Heavy Hitters is okay with just continuously picking Brightwing. It's a very safe blind pick as well. Now we have the Diablo and Anduin locked in for BoomerGaming onto Bellers and Begatron and Blaze ETC. So we very similar draft to last game. A little bit of a different healer. It is going to be the Anduin instead of the Stukov, but other than that, this is just an absolute run back of the previous game's draft. So it seems like both of these teams, well, I mean, definitely Heavy Hitters feel like their draft was good since they were able to win the game, but BoomerGaming doesn't seem to be too concerned about it either. And when the drafts remain the same, it kind of shows that BoomerGaming knows where they lost, knows what happened, and they know how to play against it so they do not lose again. And it's just showing a level of confidence from both these teams that this is where the close series starts coming through. It's not when there's someone who just throws everything at the wall, sees what sticks. It's when 2 teams know what they want, they know how they want to play it, and they're willing to bet that the way they play is better than the other team. And both of these teams are proving that at the very least, they are very, very strong teams. Regardless of how the series goes, one of these teams will have their season ended here, but I would like all of these rosters to stay together. Just the amount of control both of these rosters have been able to show. There's just some very small bits both these teams need to fix, but I'm not a coach. I'm not going to go into that. I'm sure these teams know much better than I would anyway, but I want to see them stay together just to see how powerful they will be together in the next series of NGS. But anyway, to go back to the draft, Maiev Dahaka bans, pretty standard stuff, but 2 new heroes once again picked up by BoomerGaming. Leoric for iFeed and Sylvanas for Dope Monster. So far, 18 unique picks out of the 25 total picks for BoomerGaming. And the Zeratul and Vala. So Valo has been picked before. Zeratul on Dude Daniel. That's going to be the interesting pick I do not know the single name of any of Zeratil's abilities, but I guess we're going to learn today. But this is a character I think is very difficult to play into. If it's a good Zeratil, you can do so much damage. You're able to push so fast. You're able to steal camps so quickly. You're able to deal so much DPS once you get into that late game. You could even one-shot Dope Monster, E-Bagatron, anyone, so long as you have the good positioning. And mid-div, because why not? 19 unique heroes picked by BoomerGaming this series out of the 25 total picks. And I'm sorry, but I have to give credit to that. This is it, everyone. Whichever one of these two teams is able to win this game, they're gonna win it all. Let's get it together for the one final game. We are going to map number 5 between BoomerGaming and Heavy Hitterz. And we are in map number 5. Both teams are now going to be grouping over into this mid lane. And it's going to be very interesting here. K-Star going to be running in, will join the team, and once again, Daniel not going to be doing the reset trick. But Xanthanarium is enjoying spinning around the keep. All serious coming out from BoomerGaming. They are all grouping up mid. It is going to be all 10. Last time we did see them split up a little bit. Now let's see these two teams grouping in. They're all going to be running straight mid. And will they, how aggressive are they going to go? They're able to get the portal, so Bellers is going to be in this brush first, but it looks like Heavy Hitterz was just going to start as 5 in the mid, but then split up, and they're going to kind of be showing their lane assignments here. So Tezopaco is going to be playing over towards this bot side, and at this top side it's going to be Ape Monkey and Daniel. Now the question is, are they going to stay as 2, or is it just Daniel looking to see if there's a potential pick? And it does look like that's what Daniel was awaiting. And going to walk in, and Bellers immediately going to try stunning Daniel, but will not be able to knock Daniel into the wall. And now, the main things to pay attention to this game, it is going to be the auto attack build coming out from the Vala. And once it gets into the late game, does have that percent health damage, and they're able to get the stun over onto Bellers, but Bellers will just take the portal out. But anyway, with the auto attack damage, there is the talent where she deals max percent health damage. That did get nerfed a little bit. It got nerfed by 20%. I believe instead of it being 5%, it's going to be 4%. But it's still going to be a lot of damage, especially to the Diablo, to the Leoric. Lots of high health characters on the side of BoomerGaming. The other part, as Tezopaco does get thrown back, but we'll be okay. The other part we want to look at is this Arcane Rift quest. It is incredibly important for the Medivh to be able to get those 40 stacks. Once J-Shifts gets them, we'll be okay, no problem at all. But if J-Shifts dies before those 40 stacks are reached, J-Shifts will lose all the stacks and we'll have to reset. And it is very important because the DPS gets increased substantially once those 40 stacks are reached. It lowers the cooldown of Arcane Rift by 1 second. Now the siege camps are going to be getting picked up from both of these sides as Bellers is walking into Tezopaco a little bit. Daniel also watching. And this might be the first fight of the game as we do have the stage dive, but not going to land into too many people. And Tezopaco taking so much damage on the backside. Arcane Rift is dealing a ton of damage, but they were able to steal the siege camp. Bellers wasn't able to stand on the point. And they were able to get the polymorph on Bellers as well. And sorry, and that was not the stage dive. That's the ultimate. I was talking about the power slide from Tezopaco. But now Bellers is going to be taking a decent amount of poke, and every single auto attack is going to be a stack, but they're able to get the shadow charge. The power slide going to be utilized by Tezopaco to get away, but the phase shift is also going to be coming out, so it has a decent amount of HP. But now they're able to get the root onto both of them. And now Xanthanarium was able to DPS away, so they will be able to get the space back. No one's gone down yet. Both these two teams, they were incredibly aggressive. They were willing to brawl all the way to the end in the first 4 games. But now both these teams are trying to make it a little bit less volatile. Trying to keep it a little bit more under control. And now J-Shifts is down here. Already 22 stacks on the Arcane Rift, by the way. Something we always need to keep track of. And Xanthanarium has gotten the first the first breakpoint for the Creed of the Hunter. So that's going to be a little bit more damage with the Hatred stacks. And it is the Gambit as well. So if Xanthanarium is able to stay alive longer, we'll have that higher attack speed. The Skeletons have spawned. Both sides are pretty even. Both just reaching those double digits. And now Ape Monkey just trying to zone away Bellers as well. And Tezopaco able to land the power slide on it too, but they're just going to use that as a zoning tool for now. Bellers walks right back in. And we'll have the Shadow Charge landing on a Tezopaco. Ape Monkey will use the Jet Propulsion to get back away. And now they're able to land this on a Tezopaco. Another fight's really starting to break out. Tezopaco power slides in. Able to land onto J-Shifts, but J-Shifts will get protected. But iFeed also taken out super low. Now Bellers is stuck on the enemy side of the line. But that doesn't matter because Bellers wanted the kill. And they're able to get first blood, but they will lose the Punisher in return. The ETC will go down. Tezopaco going to be the first one to die. But the death for a Punisher is worth it. Because taking out a lot of pressure, the Mortar Punisher is just going to land, just start auto-attacking onto Bellers. And is going to get a little bit of damage over onto these buildings. But in the meanwhile, Heavy Hitterz is just shoving out this top side, trying to get as much pressure as possible. They're going to finish off this top wall. And that's all you really want from the first objective of the game usually. You just want to be able to take down one of the enemy lane's walls. Anything after that is extra and is obviously welcome. But this on its own is good. And I have to give a pretty big shout out to E-Bagatron. There was a few people they could have chosen for the Leap of Faith, and they went with J-Shifts. But now the fight is starting to break out. Face Melt lands onto Bellers, but it is a 4v5. Ape Monkey is on their own, gonna get rooted, and will get taken down. So that's gonna be a second kill in favor of BoomerGaming. And that was a very interesting angle to take. And Dude Daniel is going to be able to get the double soak. And this Zeratul is one of the fastest double soakers in the game just because of that spin. But Bellers is taking so much damage from Xanthanarium at 105 stacks now. And the Arcane Rift 40 stacks has been reached. So J-Shifts has the 1 second cooldown less. But anyway, as I was saying before Bellers so rudely interrupted me. I'm just kidding. But E-Bagatron able to utilize the Leap of Faith to protect J-Shifts to ensure that all of those stacks on the Arcane Rift were not lost during that first initial team fight for the Punisher. And I think had that been used on anyone else, they would have definitely gone down. So very good heads up play. And everyone was low HP, so they just kind of were able to see who they needed to take. As the next fight is starting to break down, they're able to get the power slide onto J-Shift. Does have the protection, but Dome Monster taking so much damage from Xanthanarium. But with the portals, we'll be able to just walk away. The siege camp has not been stolen, but it is a 4v5. Heavy Hitterz were able to push them away and secure everything 4v5. So they have the Bruiser camp, and Ape Monkey was able to do a lot of damage with the top side. And I'm sorry, E-Bagatron is gone. I was not expecting them to be able to get a pick off over on this side of the map. BoomerGaming, I assume we're a little bit disrespectful, but I have no idea. We did unfortunately miss that, as the heroic counts now come out from both these two teams. And it is going to be the Void Prison coming out for the Zeratul. A couple haven't been selected yet. We have not seen what's going to be picked up as a Leyline Seal from J-Shifts. That's going to be used onto K-Star. Trying to delay a little bit and able to get a little bit of poke down onto Bellers right now. Xanthanarium going to get hit by the Arcane Rift, but 132 stacks on that passive right now for Xanthanarium. And you really got to give credit. And just continuously stacking it onto Bellers. Very brave just walking up like that. And the mid lane wall is now also gone with that siege camp. Tezopaco looking for a potential kill. Will not be able to land the power slide, and there is no play. The phase shift does come out, unfortunately, healing Tezopaco, not Dude Daniel, but Dude Daniel also going to get healed a decent amount just from the standard healing coming out from K-Star. And now the Punisher has spawned. Going to be the Arcane Punisher this time around. Both teams are already grouping. All 10 members are going to be down here as they're going to get the power slide, but the protection is going to come out from J-Shifts. Bellers taking poke damage, but nothing really substantial has been hit by either side. The Skeletons currently favoring Heavy Hitterz, but the fight is sure to break out soon. Bellers able to get the stun, and now they're going to get the life bomb, but the face mount able to keep everyone away, and the time lapse is going to be utilized in the backside, so it is a short 3v5. But now the lightning breath landing on a Dude Daniel. The phase shift is going to land in time, and Tezopaco is trying to make everyone dance, and Tezopaco somehow still alive, but will not remain alive. Tezopaco will go down. And that's going to be a teamfight victory for BoomerGaming. And I gotta give credit, the Void Poison was very good, but they still did not have enough DPS in the front line. And now the portal has been taken down just for a little bit of poke onto this wall and this wave. And I gotta give credit where credit's due, but it's still very close. Oh, but oh no, Xanthanarium tried to get the snipe to steal the Punisher and will get taken down. And with the Gambit talent, that's 15% attack speed lost for that as well. Not to mention that Vala is probably the best DPS to take down this boss. And now Ape Monkey is going to get healed up with a phase shift. Phase shift does come out in time. Tezopaco looking, but is not going to be able to get anyone in the power slide. Ape Monkey trying to DPS down this Punisher, who is going to utilize the leap. They're going to get the pull onto Tezopaco as well. But again, without the Vala, it's going to be very hard to take down Bellers. Bellers is so tanky. And now this bot side fort looks to be the first fort to get taken out of this game. And the first brick has been taken down by BoomerGaming. Nerves are definitely starting to come into play a little bit for these two teams. They know that every single game has been a matter of inches, so getting just that little bit extra matters so much. And now, it did look bad, but it's one of those risks. If they were able to get it, that would have definitely been worth it for them as well. So it just really goes to show, like, when everything's on a knife's edge, it's easy to look like a big mistake was made, when really it was just a big risk, but could have had high rewards as well. And now both of these sides are at level 13. Half a level advantage still to BoomerGaming. Siege Camp going to get picked up by both of these sides. Bellers and J-Shifts currently keeping watch in bird form, flying around, as they are able to get the power slide onto iFeed, but not going to be able to get too much else. Other thing I do want to mention with these two team comps, in terms of DPS, Sylvanas is very strong. However, the Vala and the Zeratul are going to scale really well once they get into the absolute late game. The level 16 talent, especially from Xanthanarium, the Mana Core, is going to be very important. It did get nerfed, but I still expect it's going to be the talent picked up here. And now Ify taken down a half HP. But doesn't want to leave quite yet. The Entomb is going to be utilized on all three. Now Ape Monkey is trying to deal DPS. But look at that light bomb. Lands on a 5. But unfortunately, they are going to be blocked up by the wall. And now Dude Daniel is taken down super low. iFeed going to get taken down in the meanwhile. Xanthanarium tries to get the Rain of Vengeance, but not going to be able to get away. But Tezopaco will be able to peel away with the power slide. Now iFeed trying to get onto the backline as well. And very heads up play to use the Void Prison. But unfortunately, the Lightning Breath and the Entomb, there was still too much duration left. And it was not enough. BoomerGaming going to take one. And they're also secured the Bruiser Camp. Black Arrow is going to be utilized over onto this top side. And now Dope Monster and Ify just going to be pushing down onto this fort. And they have a lot of damage, but now Bellers is currently fighting into this backside, taking a decent amount of damage. Dude Daniel taking Bellers down to half HP, now body blocking. The face melt not going to be coming out in time. And we'll get healed back. And now the Jet Propulsion lands on a 2, and that's a lot of damage. They do have the stuns. Ify now at half HP. Shadow Charge is going to be utilized, and Tezopaco is starting to get very low as well. Is going to get healed up, but the Entomb lands on 3. Do they have any other follow-up? No, everything else is still on cooldown. Ebagatron has the light bomb, not going to be able to hit onto anyone else. And now they do have the time stop. Bellers is still stuck into the team, but it is the Anduin, so they do have the leap of faith. And these team fights are so close once again, every single game. Level 16, currently hit on BoomerGaming. The Shrine is respawning. But there are massive waves heavy hitters can pick up, so they may be able to get this level 16 talent very quickly. They are going to be sending K-Star to collect all of these XP orbs in the spot lane. And once they do, should be pretty good for them, as Tezopaco going to hit onto this Diablo. Beller's going to take a decent amount of damage, but it's walking forwards, not backwards. And Dope Monster jumps into the team, and they do have the Entomb onto Xanthanarium once again. And the silence, but they do have the bunker. But you know who doesn't? The Zeratul. The Zeratul is going to go down. Tezopaco stuck on the wrong side of the team, but does have so many stuns coming through. Jet Propulsion going to land as well, but now Light Bomb is back up. Leyline Seal going to go over top, but Ape Monkey, I don't think it matters too much. Ape Monkey is still stuck 1v5, and BoomerGaming are able to close out this team fight. Level 17s, the level 16 talents never came into play for heavy hitters. It could have been the difference maker, but BoomerGaming played this extremely well, and they look like they want more. And Xanthanarium is kind of stuck on the wrong side of the map. And Kesar just going to run away. Going to use the phase shift. And could have been a potential play to let the phase shift finish. But that's still going to be yet another kill going over for BoomerGaming. And that's going to be most of the Gambit removed. Oh, sorry. So it isn't... Oh, I was thinking of the Gambit from Raynor. So this is 5% attack speed bonus. So it's not the biggest difference per death. But I believe that is going to be the second or third death coming out from Xanthanarium. And now Tezupaco going to jump through. They're going to be able to get the stun and the face melt onto Bellers. But in the meanwhile, iFeed just waiting for the perfect time to clear out this boss camp. Dude, Daniel also going to group up here and kind of trying to force them to finish off those two. I do expect iFeed just needs the one more and is going to finish it off. They got the siege camp, and I think that's all they were waiting for. The other ones aren't actually going to despawn, so they're going to be able to take down this siege camp as well, and they're going to push with a double siege camp over in this mid lane. And now Shadow Charge landing on a Tezupaco, but not too much can be done about that. It is the Frozen Punisher, and it is pushing solo top, but they're able to get so much stuns onto Tezupaco. Tezupaco able to get away in time, and so many ultimates utilized. Light Bomb, Lightning Breath, and Entomb. And now the Polymorph lands as well. Could be an opportunity. They are on even talents right now. They still do need to deal with this Frozen Punisher on this top side. But Tezupaco looking for the fight. Able to land iFeed back into the tower, but does have the protection coming out. And Leyline Seal lands onto 4, but no follow-ups available. And they're going to utilize this double siege camp, just throwing so many spears into the wall. And this mid lane wall is going to go down. And now Tezupaco just going to face melt away the rest of these camps. And dude, Daniel going to get the Void Prison on it too. Do they have any follow-up? They do have the shields coming through. Bellers is going to get polymorphed, has the Leap of Faith to protect him. But now dude, Daniel still dealing damage over in this backline, but not going to be enough. Level 20 is just one level away from BoomerGaming, and that could be a very big power spike and a very big opportunity for them to close out this game and this series. But how much can they get, and how much time will Heavy Hitters give them with that talent advantage? They are going to clear out their own bruiser camp, and they do have waves pushing into all of their lanes. There's a lot of easy to gain XP available right now for the Heavy Hitters. And now the bruiser camps is going to get matched by BoomerGaming, so that is going to help out a little bit for them. They are now half a level away from level 20. Heavy Hitters about a level and a half away. So the real question is, how long is their timer going to be, and how well can they utilize it? J-Shift, just being that annoying bird, being able to just scout everything is such a powerful tool. And Medivh, I think especially once you start getting into these higher tier teams, into A division, I've noticed it, and upwards, the amount that they're able to get just by utilizing the vision that J-Shifts and the Medivh are able to bring is insane. They really utilize it well. And with that, they now have the level 20 advantage. Bruiser Camp is shoving into the top side. Kesar and Ape Monkey going to go there to clear it up. They don't have a wave here quite yet, but they do have the black arrows coming out from Dope Monster. And they could look for the engage on Heavy Hitters, but they are down a Storm Talent, and the Storm Talents are very powerful. It is going to be the Hellgate coming out from Bellers. So very possible to just instantly engage over onto the enemy. And J-Shift's able to get the Leyline Seal onto 3. Now Bellers does have the Entomb, the Silence Entomb, and now the Light Bomb going onto the backside as well. They're able to heal up Xanthanarium. Now the Mosh Pit has landed over to the backside, so no play able to continue on. And the Teleport has been utilized. Unstoppable with the Lightning Breath, but not as much DPS that I think Heavy Hitters have defended well so far. That was a very powerful Entomb, but they weren't able to get any other follow-up. And BoomerGaming, that could have been the win for them, but they were not able to close it out. Heavy Hitters with a perfect defense, able to keep Xanthanarium alive. That is the person you want to jump on top of. And now Ape Monkey just needs to clear out a little bit, and there it is. Level 20s now hit for Heavy Hitters. The talent advantage is now even. Manticore has been taken. And with that, Farlight Quiver, the 20% attack range helps so much for the Vala. We have the Shadow Medic. Heal for 60% of spell damage dealt to hero. This Zeratul is going to be so difficult to kill, especially once we get into those big team fights. Able to spin on top of 3 or 4. They do have the mid lane pushing. Their top lane is going to be pushing in slightly into them, but it is still only the 4, so no keeps taken down. The other's going to use the Shadow Charge on onto that, but Dope Monster taken down quite low. iFeed gonna get hit. Polymorph, and look at the damage coming out from Xanthanarium. That's the late game volley you're worried about with that extra range. And the Zeratul as well, just constantly sitting there with the Void Prison, threatening. Beller's still alive, still pressing on, and they are able to get the ley line seal, but it is only onto the tank, not the target you wanted. Tezzapako looking for the fight. Is going to get the face mode onto Beller's. Not going to be able to get any other follow-up, and they will be able to get the light bomb on top, but it's not going to land onto anyone. But the lightning breath landing on all four. 8 Monkey going to go down. And Tezzapako also gone. How much more can they get out of this? Beller's trying to chase, uses the Hellgate. But the Void Prison will try to delay a little bit, but K-Star still going to go down. And Leyline Seal on it too, and this could be it. This could be the fight that ends it. To Daniel, the only one left alive. Xanthanarium also down. iFeed going to try and finish off this Punisher, but they may not even need it. They are using the teleport to get to this keep even faster. And BoomerGaming, I think they did it. I think they're going to win game number 5. It's up to Dude Daniel. How much time can Dude Daniel buy? Could one-shot in this backline if it's a absolutely perfect play. No Void Prison available to delay even for a little bit of time either. And now the DPS is starting to come down onto the score. Dope Monster going to jump away, and the Leyline Seal lands once again. And Dude Daniel is just kind of getting toyed with. And now the mid-keep is also going to be gone as well. I don't even think it matters anymore. And yeah, that is going to be it. The Punisher is here. And game number 5, the series, BoomerGaming advances to the semifinals. And the insane series has been completed. BoomerGaming able to have the late game teamfight prowess once again. And like, I still have to give huge credit for Heavy Hitterz, because Heavy Hitterz were able to, they were the 8th seed. They were definitely not favored going in, and they had an amazing fight. They were able to win every single early game in this series. But BoomerGaming, they're a very clean team. Once they got the advantage in their favor, they were able to close out these games in a very organized fashion. And their late game team fighting is incredibly clean. They were able to get the picks they wanted. And even then, Heavy Hitterz with the defense, K-Star heal onto Xanthanarium to defend that bot lane keep. Both of these two teams can walk away from this battlefield with their heads held high. And I want both of these two teams to continue playing, because the talent is there. The skill is there. Just a few tweaks and both of these two teams are insanely competitive. With that being said, that is it from me. I will be live again tomorrow with another playoff series. I believe it will be Division B. Let me quickly check. Yeah, I will be live at 5:30 PST with Division B East, High Inquisitors versus Hots Chads. Thank you all for watching. I'll be honest, I lost my voice doing this. This was an absolutely banger series to cast, and this has been one of my favorite series to cast. And I know I say that a lot, but it's just because the bar keeps getting raised by each of these teams. Thank you very much for watching. I hope all of you have an excellent night, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye now.